versus your Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. It's now time for the starting lineup. First, the visiting UMass Minutemen. Number 2, second baseman Braden Sullivan. Number 24, shortstop Matt Travisano. Number 23, designated pitcher Mitchell Schroeder. Number 11, third base Jack Beverly. Number 10 in right field Carter Hansen. Number 10, catcher Ryan Holman. Number 31, first base Mark Lilly. Number 4, infield Sam Hill. Number 16, center fielder Gavin O'Brien. And the starting pitcher for the Minutemen, number 40, Colin Howard.
During the day it's way too dim, and then at night it's going to be way too dim.
It's now time for the starting lineup for your Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Leading off, number 12, second base, Jesus Venegas. Number 5, infield, Michael Rodriguez. Number 14, designated hitter, Armani Newton. Number 11, third base, Ray Placencia. Number 16, at first base, Manny Sofrain. Number 22, at catcher, Urban Escobar. Number 1, at right field, Daryl Lee. Number 17, at shortstop, Jamie Villadea. Number 19, at center field, Sergio Romero. And your starting pitcher for the Wildcats, number 32, Joel Boré. Your umpires this evening are Royce Morrison, Jimmy Sapp, and John Depp. We now ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
Well, live from Jackie Robinson Ballpark in beautiful
Play ball.
downtown Daytona Beach, Florida. It's time for Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series between the UMass Minutemen and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company tonight at the Jack. It is considerably warmer than it was last night, with temperatures dropping into the high 40s. We're in the low 60s, high 50s tonight. Not as much wind, overcast skies, and set for some Saturday evening baseball. Quickly running you through the lineup for the Wildcats tonight. Jesus Venegas leads off and plays second. Michael Rodriguez bats second, plays left. Armani Newton, the DH, batting third. Reynaldo Placencia, the third baseman, batting fourth. Batting fifth at first base, Manny Sofrain, batting sixth. In center field, Urban Escobar, batting seventh. The right fielder, Daryl Lee. Batting eighth at shortstop, Jamie Villafane. Batting ninth in center field, Sergio Rivera. And on the mound for the Wildcats is Joel Corey. Well, Bryce, we didn't see last week because we were over at basketball, but Joel Corey maybe turned in the performance of the young season, and if he can do anything close to that tonight, the Wildcats have an excellent shot to win 2 on the bounce.
I'm excited. I'm excited because it did feel like we missed out a bit on a chance to see him pitch last weekend, and he really turned in one of the best performances we've seen in years here. 11 strikeouts, goes 7 strong, just the 1 run allowed for him, and after all that, he kind of gets saddled with a no decision. It's a little unfortunate. But we saw what he was capable of last year. Electric stuff. A guy that really has a great pitch mix, a great fastball, some good off-speed stuff to mix in there. And, you know, the monkey's off your back now. You got win number 1. All the tightness of that is gone. And hopefully we look for a little bit better of an offensive effort than we've seen thus far this season and even last night. The bats, I think, need to get going early. You need to show the guy some run support because he's still just a sophomore, right? He's got a lot ahead of him, and seeing a couple runs go his way would be a great way to start this evening.
Well, Braden Sullivan is about to climb into the right-handed batter's box for UMass. They played their first game of the season last night. The Wildcats picked up their first win of the season last night, winning 4-1. Getting 3 in the 7th to break a 1-1 tie, then holding on late. Sullivan, in last night's contest, 2 at-bats, 1 hit, one of the 4 hits that UMass had. And he also got hit by 2 pitches, Sullivan. Takes outside, 2 balls and no strikes from Corey. Joel, the sophomore out of Orlando, and before that, Puerto Rico, was one of the top prospects out of Puerto Rico growing up. And Sullivan, sky-high pop left side of the infield. Jamie Villafañe calls off Plasencia and makes the catch 1 away. And Bryce, I wanted to get your take on the fact that we've got a different left side of the infield tonight. Villafañe at short and Plasencia at third. No Jeter Poyeto in the lineup tonight, and I think that's got to be because of his offense. Still no hits all the year for Jeter.
For sure. The bat's lagging a little bit behind. The whole side of the infield has been a little bit of an adventure to start this year. They're kind of looking for somebody to solidify. We know we've seen Peter Vasquez come out in relief at points as kind of a defensive stalwart, but on both sides of the ball, kind of looking for an answer right now.
1-1 the count after a fastball strike to Matt Travisano. Travisano last night, 3 at-bats, did not record a hit, did take 1 walk. Corey working quickly, and it's fouled away. This is something that is a trend on this staff within the starting pitching this year. Both Corey and Bocabello work very quickly when they get in that groove, especially with nobody on. And he gets a swing and miss for strike 3 as Travisano waves at the slider. Kind of like the slider we saw from Brendan O'Connor last night, the UMass starter.
Yeah, Corey does a good job of setting up the off-speed stuff with the fastball. If he can locate consistently, get ahead in counts is the key there. There's stuff that'll break so far away, especially, and that one does away into the opposite batter's box. It's going to be tough to lay off.
Here's Mitchell Schroeder, scored the only run for UMass last night. And he pops one sky high behind third base. Villafañe calls off Plasencia again and takes out number 3. Well, 1, 2, 3 go the Minutemen. And the Wildcats coming about looking for some offense here on the CatEye Network. We go to the bottom of the first here at the Jack after the Minutemen go 1, 2, 3. It'll be the Wildcats on offense that try and get at the sophomore pitcher from Haddam Neck, Connecticut, Callan Powers. And Jesus Venegas stands into the batter's box. Had his 4-game hit streak snapped last night, Venegas. Watches a breaking ball that misses the zone, 1 ball and no strikes. Still the most hits on the team so far this season, Jesus, with 7 through 4 games, and he waves and misses at a fastball down and 0. Venegas batting .389 on the young season, 18 at-bats, 3 runs on 17 hits, a double, a homer, and an RBI. Here's the 1-1. And he mashes that one into center field. Whoa, that actually held up a lot more than I thought it did. That looked like it was destined for a center field single, but it was just a little flare to the shortstop, Travisano.
Yep, rolled over that one just a little bit, but the key early in this one is going to be patience. You know, the Wildcats executed what they wanted to last night. They got to the bullpen, and then they made their hay against the bullpen, and that's not going to be any different here tonight. And if you're going to go out swinging early like they did a little bit last night, that can be tough.
Here's Michael Rodriguez, who had the big hit last night, the 7th inning, the 2-run double that gave the Wildcats a 4-1 lead that they would not relinquish. Powers, the 1-0, fouled away, 1-1. Rodriguez has been one of the shining lights of this team offensively. In 18 at-bats, 5 runs, that's a team high on 6 hits, that's a team second best, and a team best 4 doubles. 4 of his 5 hits have been doubles, and we talk about how a couple of guys on this team can fly. Michael Rodriguez and Darrell Lee are the top 2 speedsters. (2-1) outside, 3 balls and a strike. And I would not put it past Michael Rodriguez with the deep corners at this ballpark to get a couple of triples this year.
He's just been so good to start the season, better than I think any of us expected.
Watches a strike, and the count goes full. Callan Powers, who's on the mound for UMass, a 6'5" sophomore from Haddam Neck, Connecticut. Last year, 11 appearances with 2 starts for UMass with a 7.40 ERA. Rodriguez on the ground is short. Bobbled by Travisano, and Rodriguez will be safe. So Michael with a 1-out reach on an error. And the shortstop's getting a lot of work early on. 2 putouts by the Bethune-Cookman shortstop Villafane in the first of the inning, and then in the last of the inning, 2 plays over at short for Travisano. He made 1 catch and then bobbled the second one.
And you can never understate how important it is to capitalize on opponent mistakes. I mean, that's how the Wildcats really broke through last night. It was the wild pitch that felt like they opened the floodgates and allowed them to run a couple across.
And now here's Armani Newton and the immediate check back over to first because they know how speedy Rodriguez is. Rodriguez, 2 for 2 on stolen bases on the year, the only Wildcat with more than 1 steal so far. First pitch to Newton. Ground ball towards the hole at short. Or second, excuse me. Sullivan comes all the way in and gets Newton by half a step. Armani was legging it out. And that advances Rodriguez to second with 2 down. And here's Reynaldo Plasencia, who has not seen action since early in the season. Only 4 at-bats, a run on no hits, 1 hit by pitch, and 3 strikeouts. And he's up in a big spot here, potentially give the Wildcats the lead. With Rodriguez on second. Chops one foul to the first base side. Rodriguez scored the first Wildcat run last night, also in the bottom of the first when he came all the way from first to home on 2 errors.
He's been both, right? He's been a table setter for the offense, and he's also been the guy to bring them home.
Oh, 1 to Ray. Inside, almost hit him. And when most of the offense is not at the races, sometimes it takes one guy to do it all. As the Wildcat offense has been kind of slow through the first 4 games of the season. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball strike outside corner, 1 and 2. But an interesting call to put Plasencia in instead of Jeter Poyeto, who has gotten most of the starts for the Wildcats on the left side of the infield, but still doesn't have a hit yet. Plasencia watches that one up and out, 2-2. Last year, Sullivan 1-1 with 1 save, so he's kind of a do-it-all guy for the Minutemen in those 11 appearances. 11 strikeouts, averaging 1 per appearance. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, and Plasencia corkscrews his way down swinging, and that'll end the threat. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left. We go to the second, no score between the Minutemen and the Wildcats here on the CatEye Network. We go to the second inning of play. Both teams still looking for their first hit. Jack Beverly leads off for UMass. 4 at-bats last night, struck out twice, did not record a hit, Beverly, as UMass was held to just 4 hits on the night by a combination of Bocabello and Zambrano for the Wildcats. First pitch fouled away, 0-1. This UMass team last year, 24-29. Fastball outside, 1-1. Including a 13-11 mark in the conference. They're in the Atlantic 10. And they made the A-10 tournament for the first time since 2012. Swing and a miss as Corey took some speed off of it. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. We were a little bit worried about some rain coming into the day, but the clouds seem to be moving away, and it's a gorgeous February evening here at the Jack. Corey fires low, 2-2. High 50s overcast with a little bit of color showing out beyond left field as the sun sinks behind us to the west. Corey misses with the slider, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jack Beverly from Framingham, Massachusetts, and a Lincoln Trail Community College transfer after 2 years. Here's the 3-2. Fouled off the end of the bat, straight back to the screen. We'll do the full count again. And Joel Corey would love a lot more innings like that first one where it was pop out, strikeout. But he walks Beverly. And Beverly is on to first with a no-out walk. And that's really where the Wildcats were hurt most last night. And throughout the season has been the walks and the first guy in the inning getting on base.
Well, it's been early base runners via the walk or the hit by pitch, or it's been 2-out base runners. And even last night in the later innings, they worked themselves into a couple of jams that required some heroics to escape from. But UMass doing a good job of putting guys on early and often, just haven't always been able to bring them home early in the series.
First pitch, a fastball strike to Carter Hansen. Hansen also didn't have a hit last night. Walked once, struck out twice. Joel Corey last year 1-4, 15 appearances with 10 starts. As he threw his back to first check on Beverly. 50 innings pitched, allowed 27 runs on 44 hits, walked 32, struck out 45. had an opponent batting average of 238. The 0-1. Swing and a miss at the breaking ball, 0-2. And you look at some of those numbers and go, well, that's not that impressive, is it? But he was the midweek starter, getting the best of the best here in the state of Florida. I mean, you talk about USF, a game the Wildcats lost that they really should have won on the back of Corey's performance. And he had a couple more of those. Jacksonville, he had a really good outing against early in the season. UNF as well last year.
We were calling for him at times to work his way into the weekend rotation at the end of last year. It felt like they were searching for an answer there on Saturdays or even occasionally on Sundays. So it's good to see that he's really locked in his place here. And if he's anything like last week, it's going to be a special season.
The 0-2 to Hansen, rung him up looking. Second strikeout of the night for Joel Corey. One down, here's Ryan Colvin, who had a really tough night last night. 0 for 4, and then also had the pass ball and the wild pitch that allowed the Wildcats to play a couple of runs. Also had the error on a throw down to second that allowed Rodriguez to come in.
Yeah, not entirely all of his own doing. I think on the whole he was pretty valiant effort put forth behind the plate. Error certainly was costly early, though.
And he's looking for a little bit of a bounce-back night, Ryan Colvin. Colvin, the sophomore from Maine, Cumberland, Maine. This is a very young UMass lineup. And a sophomore starting pitcher last night, a sophomore starting pitcher tonight. Finally, the first pitch to Colvin is a strike low and away. Last year, Colvin, 9 games played, 2 starts, just an .091 batting average, just 1 hit in 9 games. The 0-1. Swing and a miss late on the fastball, 0-2.
There's not a lot of guys on this Wildcats pitching staff that are capable of getting such big swings and misses like that one. Corey, man, he's got some special stuff, and when he mixes it well, guys are guessing.
Throw back to first. The Wildcats had 2 pickoffs at first last night, a rarity. You rarely see that here at the Jack, or really in any game the Wildcats play. 0-2. Line to left, there's a base hit. Corey attacks Colvin with an 0-2 count, and Colvin makes him pay with his first hit of the season and his second hit of his college career, and there's 2 on with 1 out.
We talked a lot last night about, you know, the mental change it took to finally come through with that first win. And this is a good example for Corey, you know, early into only his second season here at the collegiate level to show that mental toughness. And he's still gotten out in the inning. We know the kind of stuff, you know, you're able to put forward to get a strikeout like that. Don't let little rallies like this compound into crooked numbers on the board.
Here's Mark Willie. Takes a stride. 2 at-bats last night for Willie, a hit, a walk, and a strikeout. He had one of the 4 hits for UMass. Waves and misses at a breaking ball, and he's behind 0-2. And now, I think where Corey went awry in the last at-bat, he's got an 0-2 count and decided to attack the middle of the zone, trying to get a swing and miss. See if he goes outside here. Here's the 0-2. It's in the dirt, 1-2.
And some of those pitches you talk about attacking the zone might not pay off as well against, you know, these higher mid-major or high-major teams that you'll see a lot early in this season. But when you get to SWAC play, there's not a lot of guys that can catch up to even a fastball like his.
1-2. Big cut and miss. And down goes Willie on a fastball that brushed the top of his ankles.
And you kind of see the very different 4 ABs we've seen so far in this one. When he's come at guys, and again, when he's allowed the fastball to set up the off-speed stuff, guys are just fanning at him. That's where you see those 2 strikeouts, that he was just dominant in those 2 plate appearances.
And you hear Coach Hernandez, and to a lesser extent, the pitching coach Joel Sanchez, as here's the first pitch. Breaking ball, swing and a miss to Sam Hill. Talk about winning the 1-1 counts, getting ahead deep into counts. And Joel Corey's been doing that so far tonight. And that's your recipe for quick innings, for efficient at-bats as a pitcher. 2 on, 2 out. The pitch is a swing and a miss, the breaking ball.
Well, it certainly helps when UMass is hacking like they are. They every time are going after that breaking ball, and it hasn't really been close.
They looked like the Wildcats were at times throughout the early part of the season, just swinging away and hoping to make contact.
Even the Wildcats have worked some more foul balls. I mean, they're whiffing.
Uh-oh, that one gets away and all the way to the backstop. A passed ball charged to Irvin Escobar behind the plate, a rarity for the Wildcat catcher. And that'll allow the runners to move up 90 feet. So in danger of a base hit scoring 2 here for UMass here in the top of the second. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes on Sam Hill, who last night, 3 at-bats, did not record a hit, but got the RBI on the only run the Minutemen scored on a sac fly to right field. Corey wanted a called strike 3, but it's just off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
This is a spot where it feels like he's gone to that breaking ball, tailing away from the right-handed batter.
Beverly on third, Colbin on second. And he went with 1 down and away, but skipped it to the plate, and the count runs full. The 9-hole hitter Gavin O'Brien waits on deck for UMass. The full count delivery. Swing and a miss. Corey gets Hill to fan at it. Well, Corey gets 3 strikeouts to work around the walk and the single. Nothing for the Minutemen in the second. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left, and we go to the bottom of the frame. No score here on the CatEye Network. Bottom 2 here at the Jack. After Joel Corey got 3 strikeouts to work out of a jam, let's see if the Wildcats can fight back here on offense. Manny Soufrain, I think we've said it every night, is a guy that really needs a big night. I think he's only clinging on to the first base spot because of his defense right now. The senior career Wildcat out of Miami, Soufrain. 3 hits in 15 at-bats with a run and 2 RBI. But he struck out 5 times, which is second most on the team. Flares 1 foul, 1-1 the count. As he'll stare down the sophomore, righty Callan Powers.
You know, for Manny early in the season, last year we talked so much about how guys would work him low and away. It seems to me like he's been attacked more up in the zone, and it's forced a lot of swings and a lot of weak fouls like we just saw.
Soufrain watches the change up and away, 2 balls and a strike. And 3-1 as Powers misses. And you see a wide range of pitching ability at the D1 level. I mean, you've got your SWAC and specifically the SWAC West, which we'll talk a lot about when we get to conference play. Soufrain fouls it off, count runs full. But I was doing some early prep for the Maryland Eastern Shore team that's going to come down here next weekend. Not that I'll be around to do 2 of the 3 games, but I'll be here one of those days. 3-2. Soufrain fouls it off again. But you see fastballs that are down in the 70s, and then you see fastballs from teams like FIU that are up in the mid-90s, and you got to adjust to that, and it sometimes takes a bit of adjustment. 3-2. Soufrain softly hit down the first base line. Willie flips to the covering Powers, and there's one away. And there's been a lot of contact like that for Soufrain and not enough barreling it up and putting drives into it like he likes to do. So with one away, here's Irvin Escobar, who scored what would be the winning run last night to put the Wildcats up 2-1 in the 7th.
Escobar.
Came home on the wild pitch after hitting a leadoff triple in the 7th inning. Righty to righty, and he smacks one foul down the third baseline, just a little bit ahead of it.
And one thing we haven't touched on yet with Irvin Escobar is the new look down there for him. He's sporting some moss this year, growing the hair out. First time we've seen that from him in his career here, his long Wildcat career.
0-1, waves at the changeup outside, and it's 0-2. Yeah, I almost didn't recognize him when I saw him preseason a couple weeks ago. Escobar batting 154 on the year, a run on 2 hits, a double, a triple. And he strikes out swinging. The 2 away quickly for Powers. Powers has not thrown super impressive stuff, but it's been enough to get the Wildcats into soft contact, and now the second strikeout.
It's no different really than we saw last night. I mean, UMass hasn't done much to overpower anybody, but it's been enough to get, again, the swings and misses.
Here's Darrell Lee. 10 at-bats for Lee, hitting 400, 4 hits, a double, a triple, 3 RBI. All 3 of those RBI on the bases clearing double against Stony Brook last Sunday. Fastball strike right down Broadway, and it's 0-1. And Lee is the other guy, along with Michael Rodriguez, who's really impressed with his speed on the base paths. Fouls went off to the left, and the count is 0-2. Lee, the junior from Troy, Alabama, transfer from Coastal Alabama Community College. Trying to give the Wildcats life here in the bottom of the 2nd. And he does not. Strikeout swinging on the fastball up and away. Wildcats go 1-2-3. We'll head to the 3rd. No score here on the CatEye Network. We move swiftly to the top of the 3rd. Still no score here at the Jack between the UMass Minutemen and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Game 2 of the 3-game set this weekend. The Wildcats took the first 4-1 last night.
Now batting number 16, Gavin O'Brien.
And here's the only change to the Minutemen lineup between night 1 and night 2. Gavin O'Brien in the 9-hole playing center field. O'Brien fouls it back. He's behind 0-2. O'Brien from Salisbury, Connecticut, the freshman, 6'4". Corey deals, bounced it to the plate, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Connecticut All-State member and ECC champion at Salisbury High School. Gavin O'Brien. 1-2. Ground ball outside of third, count holds.
This is about as beautiful as a sunset as you can see out here at the Jack. We get a lot of those throughout the course of the season.
I had to snap a picture in between innings. It's really pretty out here.
Pinks and oranges.
Corey just misses off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The honors for Gavin O'Brien at the high school level just stacking up as he watches one low. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Like mentioned, Connecticut All-State team, All-Area Player of the Year, WNEPL Co-Player of the Year. And now applying his trade at the college level. 3-2 from Corey. Strike 3, rung him up on the outside corner. And already the 5th strikeout for Joel Corey in the first time through the order.
And I think O'Brien knew it on that one. You could see with the way that he kind of froze and walked away that he knew he missed on that one. But Corey has been able to get strikeouts in multiple ways tonight. I mean, he's been able to get the big swings and misses, and he's been able to locate on the corners right there where it's just an impossible take.
Welcome to Division I baseball, Gavin O'Brien. And we're back to the top of the order for UMass. Here's Braden Sullivan, who popped out to the shortstop his first time up. Watches one out of the zone for ball 1. This is a UMass team that was picked 10th out of 12 in the A10 preseason poll. Corey's 2-0 is a fastball strike, 2-1. Virginia Commonwealth and Richmond tie atop the preseason poll in that conference, with St. Louis and George Washington right behind them.
Finale season in the A10 for UMass.
They'll be moving to the MAC next year. Did he go? Yes, he did. Counts 2 balls and 2 strikes. Joined the likes of the Michigan schools, Buffalo, Ball State. It's a good little athletic conference, the MAC. Of course, Wednesday night MACtion during football season is always all the rage.
Still probably be at the bottom in football. It's where they've resided independently for a long time. But it should be fun to see how some of the other sports find their footing in a new league. I mean, we know from experience what that's like, moving from the MEAC to the SWAC.
An explanation given to both head coaches. I'm not sure what Coach Hernandez is upset about. He got the strike call. Unless it is 3 balls and 1 strike and the board just hasn't reset. So we shall see. Home plate umpire Royce Morrison. Jimmy Sapp at first, John Dowdy at third. I'm going to go with what the board says. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball to first. Sufrain will take it himself. And there's 2 away. And that'll bring up Matt Travisano, was the first strikeout victim of the 5 for UMass, the first time through the order. Went down as the second out of the top of the first. Whoa, look out. Corey throws that one to land. And it's a ball and no strikes. Travisano chops it foul, first base side, 1-1. Travisano, the redshirt sophomore from Carlisle, Massachusetts. Last night, didn't get a hit in 3 at-bats, walked once. Ground ball just outside of third and foul. Gathered up back there by Plasencia. The defensive lineup for Bethune-Cookman, it's Plasencia and Villafane on the left side of the infield, and Venegas and Sufrain on the right. In the outfield, Rodriguez, Rivera, and Lee left to right keep their places from last night. The battery, Corey and Escobar. Big cut and miss. at the breaking ball, and 1, 2, 3 go the Minutemen on strikeout number 6 for Joel Corey this evening. We go to the bottom of the third, no score here on the CatEye Network. Jamie Villafane leads things off for Bethune-Cookman as we go to the bottom of the third, making his first start of the year. Villafane, only his second appearance.
Now batting number 17, Jamie Villafane.
Powers still on the mound for UMass at a scoreless game, bottom of the third here at the Jack. Powers deals. Villafane puts a charge into it out towards left center field. Hill moves over, makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Some of the best contact we've seen from either side early in this game.
But again, the first pitch swinging, it rubs me the wrong way a little bit. But we go to the 9-hole hitter, Sergio Rivera. Rivera, who was preseason all-SWAC second team coming into the year, has had to battle for some playing time early on. Daniel Figueroa had his spot in center field for the majority of the first 4 games. Rivera got the start last night, making his second consecutive start this evening. 1-0 from Powers. Breaking ball outside, 2-0. Last year, started all 57 games for the Cats. Batted .283 with a team-high 13 doubles and a team-high 43 runs. Also 35 RBI. Pops one in the air, first base side. That will bounce on top of the dugout. A valiant effort from Colbin behind the plate. He ran all the way into the dugout to try and make that catch. But it's just a long strike, and it's 2-1. Before that, Sergio Rivera was at Florida Southwestern State in 2023, and then his freshman year at the University of Kansas in Lawrence. The 2-1. Breaking ball, catches the outside corner, 2-2. Rivera in his 5 plate appearances, 1 run, 1 hit, and the triple last night. 2-2. Upstairs, the count runs full. That triple came with 2 outs, and he was ended up being stranded on third. I can't recall the last time the Wildcats had 2 triples in a game like they did last night. 3-2. Upstairs, ball 4. And the second base runner of the game for Bethune-Cookman. They still don't have a hit. An error and a walk. They're 2 base runners so far. Back to the top of the order, here's Jesus Venegas, who popped out softly to the shortstop his first time up. That was also first pitch swinging for Venegas. He has tended to do that. Spinning a throw back to first, sliding in is Rivera. Sergio also had a stolen base last night, his first of the year. Powers goes and checks over there again.
You know, we do have, as part of the renovations here at the Jack, a roofing crew over on the home clubhouse. And I do fear for their safety a little bit with some foul balls. Haven't seen any yet that way, but they are not paying a ton of attention to the game.
First pitch to Venegas is a breaking ball outside to the righty, 1-0. Venegas comes highly touted to the Wildcats from Tallahassee Community College. A third straight check over to first. Do not make me bring up again how I wish the pickoff rule from the major leagues was a thing in college.
Both teams this weekend have been paying a ton of attention to runners. Hasn't really been a priority for either side, but they've attacked over there.
Venegas can't catch up to the fastball, 1-1. Preseason all SWAC by perfect game for Venegas. I mean, we saw a perfect game give their flowers to Tanner Bocabella last year, and he ended up being SWAC Newcomer of the Year. Barely safe is Rivera at first after not getting a great jump back to the plate, or the base, rather. A two-time All-Panhandle Conference at Tallahassee Community College, Jesus Venegas. A fourth check over of the at-bat. Hit .327 last year. 7 homers, 35 RBI. And a pitch out. They're really paying a lot of attention to Rivera over there at first. He only stole once yesterday.
Well, I kind of get it. I mean, both teams' runs haven't really been free-flowing so far in this series, so going to the small ball makes a lot of sense.
Here is the steal. There's the throw to second. And in safely is Rivera with his second stolen base of the season. Well, maybe they were right to keep checking on him over there.
There is something satisfying in the game of baseball about seeing somebody check over so many times and still being able to run on him. Rivera doesn't need a gigantic lead to get there.
I'd put him in maybe the second tier of speedsters on this team behind Lee and Rodriguez. Breaking ball catches the outside corner for a strike, and the count runs full to Venegas. Runner in scoring position with 1 down in a scoreless game here in the bottom of the third. And Powers deals after he looks back towards second a couple times. Now comes home with it. Up and in, Venegas holds off. Did he swing? No, says the first base umpire Jimmy Sapp, and 2 straight walks have 2 on for the Wildcats with 1 down, and the batter is the scorching hot Michael Rodriguez.
Yeah, might be no better bat in this lineup in a situation like this thus far this season. One of the few guys that hasn't really looked phased by any pressure, any runners in scoring position or guys on base. He just come out and swing the bat. Maybe we see a 5th double of the season here, maybe?
I don't know. I mean, if there were no outs, I'd say to try and bunt. But there is 1 out. You don't want to put your pressure on your next hitter up with 2 down and 2 on. First pitch to him, inside ball 1. Both teams only used 2 pitchers last night, so it'll be interesting to see how quick the potential hook is for both of these teams with full bullpen options available, although we know the Wildcats have been struggling with some injuries in the bullpen this season. The 1-0, hit in the air to center field. Not that deep. O'Brien makes the catch. Going to third is Rivera. He'll be there standing up, so with 2 down, there's now runners on the corners. Good contact by Rodriguez, and last night the wind was swirling so much that any ball hit to the outfield was an adventure. We saw some outfielders wrong-footed, balls get to the wall, over heads. Tonight, it's almost as still as you can be, complete opposite of last night, no wind at all. So balls in the air to the outfield are going to be pretty routine for outfielders. Runners on the corners, 2 down. Here's Armani Newton. The overshift is on for UMass. 3 on the right side, just 1 on the left. A massive hole because the third baseman, Beverly, is holding Rivera on third. So if Newton can poke this one the other way, he's got a great chance at an RBI. The 1-0. Sky-high pop behind second base. Travisano moves over, steps back, makes the catch, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits, and 2 left. And we go to the 4th inning of play. Still no score here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark on the CatEye Network. To the 4th we go in a scoreless tie here at the Jack. And last night, as Mitchell Schroeder leads off, takes a strike from Joe Okori. Last night it was tied at 1 for a long time. The Wildcats scored in the 1st, the Minutemen scored in the 2nd, and nobody scored again until the 7th inning. Okori works quickly, gets a swing and miss from Schroeder, who popped out to short his first time up. We appreciate your company here on the CatEye Network. Michael Torillo, Bryce Hoynoski talking you through it. Swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. Escobar throws down to first to complete the strikeout. Strikeout number 7 through 3 1/3 for Joe Okori tonight. How many did he have last week? 11? We are well on our way to those kind of numbers again.
And he didn't get pitcher of the week. It blows my mind. Like, I'm still stuck on that. I talked about it on the podcast this week. I talked about it everywhere.
Who did get pitcher of the week?
They gave it a co-pitcher of the week, Bama State and FAMU. Granger and Jaffett.
He didn't even get co-pitcher of the week.
No, and,
wow.
and Jaffett's the one that, like, a good pitcher, fine, but he went, I think, 3 innings, struck out 5. What are we doing?
Ball low, 1-1, the count to Jack Beverly, who walked and was stranded on third in the 2nd, the closest the Minutemen have come to scoring so far in the ball game. Fastball strike right down the middle, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And a bit of frustration out there down the third base line for UMass head coach Matt Reynolds. Time called.
You know, you mentioned Coach Reynolds. Can you just give that stat again about how many years they've had alumni coaches?
For those of you who weren't here last night, let me see if I can find it again. It's the 59th straight season for UMass with an alumni as their head coach. And they've only been 3 coaches in that time.
Both of those are so impressive.
Big cut and miss. Strikeout number 8 as down goes Jack Beverly. And there's 2 away. I know we rolled out the Nolan Santos comparison on the podcast this week because he equaled his strikeouts in a game record back from 2 years ago.
Number 10, Carter Hansen.
But he's looking a lot like Nolan with the way he's attacking hitters, getting Ks, getting swings and misses.
Well, tell you what, I'm not sure Nolan got the swings and misses like he has tonight.
Foul ball chopped right at home for Carter Hansen, who struck out his first time up. I'm going to be saying that a lot tonight.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, Nolan had great swing and miss stuff, but And of course, UMass still very much adjusting to life back into the season, only their second game. But man, some of these have been crazy.
Like that one. Nowhere close for Carter Hansen. And Hansen last night didn't pick up a hit, walked once, struck out twice. And already the 0-2. Way outside, trying to get a swing. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, that 59 years Massachusetts an alumni as head coach is the second longest streak in the country, which you were surprised about. Here's the 1-2. Ground ball towards second. Venegas charges and underhands to first. That's the end. If you're in the YouTube chat, put in who you think has the longest streak, and we'll tell you in the bottom of the inning. We go to the bottom of the 4th, no score here on the CatEye Network. Welcome back to Jackie Robinson Ballpark. We go to the bottom of the 4th, scoreless here on the CatEye Network. Ray Plasencia leads off for Bethune-Cookman. Plasencia struck out his first time up and almost gets hit in the head with the first pitch that time. Well, Reese McCarthy did get the trivia question correct. BYU has the longest streak with an alumni as head coach. 62 consecutive seasons this year. And I wonder if you were listening to the broadcast last night, because we did talk about it. Swing and a miss from Plasencia, 1-2.
I certainly guessed somewhere in the Northeast. It feels like guys stick around up there forever.
Before last year, 1-2, Plasencia cuts and misses at what would have been ball 2, and that's his second strikeout of the night. The Wildcats cannot get any offense out of the left side of their infield this season. It's been a black hole between Plasencia, Polledo, Peter Vasquez has struggled when he's been in there. And here's here is Manny Sufrain, who grounded out to first base his first time up. Watches one outside, ball 1. 1-0. In the dirt, 2-0. That one really got away from Powers. We saw O'Connor last night for UMass breeze through this Wildcats order after giving up the run of the first, and the Wildcats had to rely on the bullpen. O'Connor only threw, 65 pitches last night before being pulled.
And really, Powers isn't too far behind. Just pitch number 52 coming up right here.
Sufrain fouls it off, 2 balls and a strike.
If you're UMass, you can certainly look last night and question the decision to remove O'Connor from the game in what, immediately led to a big-time turnaround for the Wildcats. Of course, you can justify it early in the season, first game, trying to get his legs under him.
Sufrain golfs one foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes. That is right at the workers on top of the clubhouse.
They ain't even paying attention, I'm telling you.
No, the one guy in the pink jacket did move out of the way.
Oh, that's good. I do worry for their safety. Working out here at 7 at night is certainly interesting, but I guess they knew they had the stadium lights coming.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Sufrain after 2 straight foul balls. Powers deals. Outside 3-2. Now, I mean, Tortuga's season not that far away with spring training games underway this week. It's wild to me that it's already almost baseball season. 3-2. Upstairs, ball 4, and Soufrain draws a walk. I mean professional baseball season, obviously. It's Bethune-Cookman baseball season, has been for 2 weeks now.
Well, even college baseball always sneaks up on you, man, because it feels like you're just starting to get into the meat of college basketball, right when the games really start to feel like they're having implications night in and night out, and then all of a sudden, boom, baseball's in your face.
And we had
softball's even worse.
And then we had a week last week where it's softball, basketball, baseball, softball. And we're all pulling our hair out over here. First pitch swinging for Urban Escobar, fouls it away. Struck out his first time up. We talk about Corey having a good night. I mean, Powers hasn't allowed a hit yet. The four base runners, on 3 walks and an error. The 0-1 to Escobar with 1 out and Soufrain on first. And Soufrain has to slide back in. Powers, the Connecticut native from the stretch. Hit in the air to right center field by Soufrain. That'll be a long run for O'Brien, and he can't get there, and it's going to roll to the wall. Trying to score from first is Soufrain. He's in there. It's an RBI double for Urban Escobar. Stay hot, young man. He had the triple last night. He's got a double tonight, and it's 1-0 Bethune-Cookman.
And that one is, you talk about no man's land, right in between the two guys in the outfield. No chance to run it down, long run. I thought we might see stretched out another triple there, but UMass did a good job to get it back into the infield quickly, so he'll have to settle for a double. But finally, again, it seemed like we were headed for another questionable night here at the plate for the Wildcats, and it feels like once they get one, a couple more start to follow.
And how about the hustle from Manny Soufrain, the big man, rumbling home all the way from first. Here's Darrell Lee, watches one inside, ball 1. Soufrain has some sneaky wheels. He legged out a couple triples last year. Not really what you would expect from a guy that's 6'3", 215. Lee fouls one off, 1 ball and 1 strike. Now we got Escobar at second, 1 down. And Escobar, another one that you really wouldn't expect to leg out so many extra base hits as he does.
When Escobar is hot, man, there's not a whole lot of guys on this roster year in and year out that could compete with just the streaks that he goes on.
Lee pops one sky high, third base side into foul territory. Beverly tracking and makes the catch behind his head. And they're 2 away in the inning. Man, what did he hit in the SWAC tournament 2 years ago when the Wildcats went on that run to the final? 600?
It felt like 900. It felt like you couldn't get the guy out. He does always feel like it's in timely spaces, right? And this is a good example of that because hasn't really been clicking up and down the lineup for everybody. So you need a couple of guys, especially your veteran guys, to come through and show it, hey, guys, relax. Listen, it's a lot of season. Let's get us going early. And Escobar's a perfect guy to get hot and to do that.
Time called on the field. Here's Jamie Villafane, flew out to left field his first time up. One of the better pieces of contact for the Wildcats through the first 3 innings. If he can find some grass, maybe double the Wildcats' lead here. Already 1 in on the inning. There's some decent contact. That's going to get some grass. Trying to come in from second is Escobar. Here's the throw to the plate. It's in time, and Escobar's out. Well, we talked about Urban Escobar not being the fastest guy in the world, and that was speculative at best on a little bloop single to left field. So 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 left. And we go to the 5th inning of play. The Wildcats open the scoring. It's 1-0 here on the CatEye Network. Ryan Colvin leads off for the Minutemen. Has the only UMass hit so far tonight. A single to left field back in the second. As Corey deals, there's a fastball in there for a strike, 0-1. Corey's gotten the last 6 UMass guys out. Working on 7, 8, 9 in a row here in the 5th inning. 1-0 Wildcats on the RBI double by Irvin Escobar. That one's chopped right at home plate. It'll be a foul ball. We're talking about the longest streaks of coaches at one place. Not really much more than Tony Rossi, the former Siena Saints head coach. There's a big cut and miss as down goes Colvin, one away. Rossi, he retired in 2023, but he had spent 54 years as the head coach at Siena. So he was, we talk about that record of the longest coaches from by their alma mater. He almost had the record by himself.
That's crazy. You got to love the game. You got to love where you're at. You got to love the people you work with.
High fly, center field from the bat of Mark Willie. Standing under it is Rivera. That's out number 2.
UMass has got to be careful here, man. They're just 61 pitches for Corey through 5 here. They got to work counts. I mean, we know where this BCU bullpen is at this point in the season. You got some guys banged up. You got a lot of newcomers, haven't quite solidified roles down there yet. Don't know how many guys we really trust at this point, especially with just the 1 run of cushion. You can't let Corey off the hook and let him work quickly.
Here's Sam Hill, struck out his first time up. First pitch strike at the knees. Wildcats picked to finish 2nd in the SWAC this year in the preseason poll behind reigning champ Grambling State. Fastball strike 0-2. Jackson State behind them at 3, Alabama State 4, Florida A&M number 5. It's telling that 4 of the top 5 are Eastern Conference teams. Bethune-Cookman, Jackson State, Alabama State, Florida A&M. As the 0-2 from Corey is bounced to the plate 1-2. And then 5 of the bottom 6 are from the West.
You know, that's not that shocking to me.
Well, with how old school, here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and down goes Hill, and we'll talk about this next inning. That's the inning, 1, 2, 3, 9 up, 9 down in the last 3 frames for UMass, and we go to the bottom of the inning, 1-0 Bethune-Cookman here on the CatEye Network. To the bottom of the 5th we go. Wildcats 1, UMass nothing.
Number 19, Sergio Rivera.
Wildcats got 1 in the 4th to break it open, and Sergio Rivera from the 9 spot looking to table set for the Cats here in the 5th against Callan Powers, who throws pitch number 62 up and in, and it's ball 1. I want to continue the conversation from the previous inning about the predicted order of finish in the SWAC. I mean, 5 of the top 6 from the, 4 of the top 5 from the East, 5 of the bottom 6 from the West. Following statistical trends, yes, Bryce, as you said, that's not surprising, but you have seen, as here's the 1-1 from Powers, the powers that be that vote in this conference sometimes are, swayed by old ways of when this conference was only 10 teams.
I almost think, calling it an old school approach is almost kind of unfair to the state of baseball.
1-2 outside, 2-2. Of course,
Because
go ahead.
I wouldn't call it like some kind of analytic thing, in the way that the two sides recruit. Some of it, I think, is just based on where some of these schools are, your Alcorns of the world that can struggle. But see, then you can't give that same excuse to your Prairie Views and Texas Southern, so much talent in the state of Texas.
Breaking ball misses outside, full count.
But it's just these guys that, whether it's they don't scout pitching well or they don't prioritize it, I wouldn't even necessarily call it old school because, how many great old school pitchers have been around? I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic for sure.
Ball 4 upstairs and a walk worked by Rivera. Fourth walk of the game for Powers puts a runner on with nobody out, with nobody out. And we go back to the top of the order to Jesus Venegas, who popped up to short in the first and walked in the third, but ended up stranded on first in the third. 1 on, nobody out. Wildcats have not taken advantage of their no-out base runners. They had a bunch last night and only ever brought the 1 in the 7th inning when they finally broke the game open. As we're going to have a meeting on the mound here from the UMass side. Nobody going to the bullpen yet, so this is just a calm down to Kellen Powers. We'll be all right. It's only a 1-run game. Out talking right now is Brandon Shalikas, the pitching coach for UMass. In his 3rd season with the Minutemen, formerly at Amherst College, Shalikas. Amherst, of course, Division III athletic powerhouse. We're going to do Guess the Mascot here, Bryce. Amherst is the...
You said UMass Amherst?
No, just Amherst.
Oh, Amherst. Oh, boy.
UMass Amherst is playing in front of us.
Right. Wow, yeah, you're right. I totally spaced out there. I said that because we were talking about the different UMass campuses a little bit last night post-game. Amherst College. I'm gonna guess it's some kind of bird, just based on the fact that they're near the ocean. But I'm not gonna go any further than that, so you're just gonna have to tell me.
It's the Amherst Mammoths.
Okay, well, that would not have been on my short list.
And the only reason I know that is that their women's basketball team the last 2 years has been down here at the Daytona Beach Shootout Division III basketball tournament in December.
Yep.
And we're gonna have a pitching change here as Powers is done, and I'll ask Bryce for a final line on Callan Powers tonight.
I'll have that for you shortly as I work on getting our new guy in here. I wonder if that wasn't injury related, just in the nature of the long conversation.
And there wasn't really anybody warming up before that.
Right. We'll have to.
Well, we hope it isn't
check on that
anything
one.
Injury related for the sophomore out of Connecticut. When you have a new pitcher for me, I'd love to know about it.
I would too, man. Believe me, it's number 33 coming in there.
The new pitcher for UMass is Bobby McDonough, the redshirt sophomore from Arlington, Virginia, back near my old stomping grounds up in Northern Virginia.
Guess we'll see with how long this warm-up ends up being. We'll know pretty quickly if it was injury related or not.
McDonough inherits 1 runner and nobody out in the 5th with the Wildcats up by 1. McDonough started his collegiate career at William and Mary in the Colonial, now Coastal Athletic Association.
Final line on Powers for you. course, he's responsible for the 1 base runner. 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned, walked 4, struck out 4. And again, just the 67 pitches, so that's back-to-back nights for UMass. They're pulling guys pretty early.
This is the first action for Bobby McDonough since 2023, redshirted last season. And Jesus Venegas is set to face him. Fastball upstairs, ball 1. McDonough, a redshirt sophomore in his 3rd college season. Fires a fastball, strike 1-1. As a freshman at William & Mary, 10 games all out of the bullpen. 13 innings, struck out 9. And of course, redshirted last year. Whoa! Look out, that one gets to the backstop. And moving up on the wild pitch is Sergio Rivera. And that may be a lack of warm-up time for McDonough.
Which I'm surprised. I mean, you certainly get a longer time to warm up when it's injury related, but McDonough didn't take a whole lot of time, above average what you would normally see in any regular routine pitching change. But for sure, that definitely is one of those ones we'd normally see fly in from the bullpen.
McDonough prepped at Bishop O'Connell High School in Arlington, Virginia. That time he fires closer to the zone, but it's still 3 balls and a strike on Venegas. As a senior, posted a 1.50 ERA and a 3.30 batting average as a two-way player, as most high school players are. 3-1 to Venegas from McDonough. And the pitch fouled away, 3-2. Something that Bobby McDonough has done consistently is be great in the classroom. CAA Commissioner Honor Roll in 4 straight semesters at William & Mary and won the William & Mary Provost Award twice. 3-2. McDonough gets Venegas to foul it off the end of the bat. That's the first time we've seen that slider for McDonough. And Venegas will see another full count delivery here. Runner on second, nobody out after the walk on the wild pitch. Check swing, did he go? No, and it's 2 straight walks. And there's runners on first and second.
Seems like Michael Rodriguez always seems to come up in these situations.
Well, it's funny because back in the 3rd, right, Rivera walked, and then Venegas walked, and then Rodriguez flied out to center.
Well, a key part of this Wildcats lineup for the last couple of years has been having a table setter in that 9 spot, right? Whether it was Cole Nolison, whether it was Daniel Figueroa, whether now last couple of nights and maybe going forward it's been Sergio Rivera, turning the line over like that and to be able to give your guys at the top, especially Michael Rodriguez thus far in the season, a chance to hit with guys on base has been a really big strength of the team.
Fastball right down Broadway, strike 1 to Rodriguez. Rodriguez tonight reached on an error by the shortstop in the 1st, was stranded on second, flew out to center in the 3rd, as previously mentioned, in the exact same spot we have right now with Rivera on second, Venegas on first after 2 walks. McDonough deals. Fouled away, no balls and 2 strikes. We talked up Michael Rodriguez about being the clutch guy. Tied for first on the team with 3 RBIs through 5 games played. Chance for more here, but he's behind 0-2 to McDonough. And the pitch. Walked, strike 3. And McDonough has his first strikeout as a UMass Minuteman, and that'll be 1 out. And here's Armani Newton, who's 0 for 2, grounded to second and popped out to short. And let's see if they put the overshift on again. They've been doing it all weekend so far for Armani Newton. Newton last night, 1 for 2. Single, strikeout, walk, hit by pitch. First pitch, fastball, strike at the knees. Newton, the transfer from Florida Gulf Coast, and time's going to be called. And we're going to have a pitcher-batter conversation here.
It was funny, Sergio Rivera started to head in to, be a part of the conversation, as sometimes these Wildcats are to do with Coach CatEye. Brings in, everybody on the base pass and the hitter. Waved him off, just wants a quick conversation. We know how thorough Coach CatEye is in scouting these opponent pitchers and planning ahead for each at bat.
He probably just said, hey, go opposite field with it. There's a big hole out there. Here's the 0-1. Swinging a ground ball back up the middle, right in the correct spot as Travisano steps on the second base bag, throws to first, double play. That's the end of the inning. Well, the Wildcats strand one. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, one left. And we go to the 6th inning. 1-0 Wildcats here on the CatEye Network. Joel Corey back out to start the 6th inning of work. He's sat down 9 straight Minutemen in the last 3 innings, and he starts with a first pitch strike to Gavin O'Brien, who struck out his first time up in his first ever collegiate at-bat. Corey just misses outside with the fastball, 1-1. O'Brien playing his first collegiate game tonight, the freshman. The only change in this UMass order from the unit that played last night, of course, exception made for the pitcher. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Corey loses that one out of the hand, 2-2. We've seen Corey sometimes be a bit wild like that, lose him out of the hand, over-rotate, throw him in the dirt. But he always seems to come back and not let it phase him. 2-2. Chop foul, slow roller toward the Wildcat dugout. Count holds 2-2.
That's a great example right there of exactly what you just said. Comes back inside, something a little harder. Gets O'Brien way out in front of it.
O'Brien on the ground to first, past the diving glove of Sufrain, and a base hit for UMass, only their 2nd of the night. And it's a first college hit for Gavin O'Brien. Right down the first base line. 1 on, nobody out. We're back to the top of the order. And here's Braden Sullivan. Sullivan 0 for 2. Pop out to short and a ground out to first. As he's got O'Brien on first. Nobody out. Wildcats still lead this one just 1-0. As Sullivan squares to bunt, ball in the dirt. 1-0. I am not surprised by this, that they're going small ball here in a night where offense is at a premium between both of these teams. You can scratch across one here, get back on level terms, go into the later innings. Corey deals. Outside and low. And that outside and low has not been called a strike all night for Royce Morrison. Been very consistent about that.
We've seen a couple of games so far this year where that's been the opposite. It's been real generous down there.
Last night, it was pretty generous down there from the home plate umpire. 2 balls, no strikes. That one's right down the middle. And it's 2-1.
You know, a lot of arms in this Wildcats rotation and bullpen have definitely shown signs of a little bit of intimidation when guys are on the base paths. They've, whether it's slowed down the pace or just pitched a little differently. Corey hasn't done that so far.
Here is the bunt. It's down the first base line. It's going to stay fair, and Corey bobbles it, and everybody's safe. It looked like Corey thought that was going to go foul, realized it wasn't, and then tried to pick it up and missed it.
Yeah, just one of those tough plays where you kind of misjudge. You know, the turf always kind of does its thing, has its way with these rolling balls, and it didn't quite kick as much as he thought it would. And so try to let it roll, change that maybe mid decision there, and ultimately it was a nice bunt. A ton of credit, really nice bunt from Sullivan there, and we'll give that one a hit.
2 on. You give it a hit? All right. I did not. I gave it an error.
No, that's a really tough play.
And the ball gets away. First pitch to Matt Travisano. The runners move up, 2 in scoring position now.
Well, now here's prove it time. No outs, 2 guys in scoring position now. One ball in the outfield. You've given up the lead here. We'll see what kind of resilience Corey has. With the stuff he's had tonight, you can work your way out of this, but you got to attack to do it.
O'Brien on third, Sullivan on second, no outs. High pop, left-hand side, foul territory, out of play. Hits off the grandstand. Corey with 9 strikeouts so far tonight. Looks like he might need a few more here in this inning. Wildcats just with the 1-run lead. They got the RBI double from Irvin Escobar to score Sue Frayne back in the 4th. That's been all the offense either of these teams could muster. Big cut and miss from Travisano, who's already struck out twice tonight. One, 2. In the dirt, 2-2. Three balls and 2 strikes as Corey misses in the dirt again. And now things get messy.
He's gone so much to that ball that breaks out of the zone. And when you're forced to come inside, you get a little bit more dangerous. You either have to rely on the swing or just pound the fastball.
He does rely on the swing, and Travisano got a piece of it. Travisano still looking for his first hit of the season. Went 0 for 3 last night with a walk. He's 0 for 2 so far tonight with 2 Ks. Corey deals. Breaking ball back up the middle, and that's going to be a 2-run single. In from third is O'Brien. In from second is Sullivan, and UMass has the lead to the delight of the traveling supporters behind the UMass dugout.
Well, and that's one with runners on base. You know, normally that's a textbook one right at Villafañe there at short. But since he was playing a little bit further over there into that gap, the ball manages to squeak up through the bigger space in the middle there. Nice piece of contact, and you know, it kind of felt like we were reaching that point, and UMass capitalizes.
This feels a lot like the Sunday game against Stony Brook. Of course, the numbers were a lot more dramatic in that game. The Wildcats led 8-0 and eventually gave up 11 straight. Lost 11-8.
Well, and really, the team is on both sides kind of flirted with it, right? As Coach Sanchez is going to come out here and talk things over with the sophomore. It feels like, you know, offensively, you spend so much time flirting with guys on early or guys in scoring position or just runners on, period, and you can't quite bring them home. And on the other side, there's been how many times this year where you've put runners on early or you've really put yourself in difficult spots with 2 outs. You know, this time it's early on in this half of the inning, but you've just flirted with danger too much on both sides, and it always kind of feels like you say, it's building towards this. It did last Sunday, and just a matter of time before the opponent's able to come and break through, and UMass has gotten a chance to do that now as the bullpen starts to work.
The Wildcats only have 1 run on 1 hit tonight as the offense has gone out to dinner again. We thought maybe with the 3-run rally in the 7th last night, we turned the corner, finally got the win, but the offense is right back to being inefficient. Early swings. Yes, they've taken some walks, but they haven't gotten guys in, haven't been able to get the hits to bring them around.
And that's the second time, right, that I think we've thought that. Or maybe you could go even back as far as the third. Opening night, you go in front, right, 4-3 or 3-2 or whatever it was at the time, and then you end up coughing that up. And then you come back Sunday and you go up 8 runs. You're like, okay, finally, the offense has arrived. They've settled in. They've put all that in the past. They're ready to go, and it comes back to bite them. And then here again, last night, we thought maybe it fired them up a little bit. You get the bats going. Still hasn't quite all settled, hasn't quite locked in early on in the season.
2-1 UMass, still no outs in the inning, as Corey deals low and inside to Mitchell Schroeder. And Corey's not done himself any favors this inning by getting behind in counts and having to challenge hitters in the zone.
And I give UMass credit. I mean, they came up swinging the last probably 3 or 4 innings, swinging really early.
Double barrel action in the BCU bullpen now, as Joel Corey may have hit a little bit of the proverbial wall here after a valiant start to the game with 9 strikeouts in 5 innings. And remember, Corey still just a sophomore, even though he dazzled us last year as a freshman, and then, of course, last week, his first start of the season. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Throw down to second, not in time, and it's a stolen base. So Travisano takes second on the steal.
Coach Hernandez having a conversation. I wonder
if he called catcher's interference?
Yep. Or if he wanted some kind of interference on the batter with that big swing. Kind of lunged at it. I mean, it was a good protection swing, but I can certainly see from his vantage point where you think maybe it was a little bit closer to Irvin Escobar than it should be. That's why you see a little bit later of a throw, slower pop than we're used to from Irvin. It's going to be one of these textbook official conversations that never really lead to anything.
We get a chance to talk about some of the games that have happened around the SWAC. A lot of the SWAC teams playing each other at the Andre Dawson Classic down in South Florida. Alabama A&M, Prairie View A&M. All these finals from yesterday. Jackson State beat Southern. Alabama State beat Grambling State. In out-of-conference competition, Alcorn fell 10-0 to Southeastern Louisiana. Arkansas Pine Bluff was in the game for a while against Stephen F. Austin, and the Lumberjacks broke it open 13-3. Incarnate Word beat Texas Southern 18-1. And then some final scores that have rolled in from earlier today. Grambling State beats Alabama A&M 7-4 at the Andre Dawson Classic. Lindenwood on the road at Mississippi Valley State wins 19-3. Jackson State beats Prairie View 14-0. Alcorn State continues their set at Southeastern Louisiana. Arkansas Pine Bluff at Stephen F. Austin. Texas Southern and Incarnate Word. And Florida A&M and Southern currently going on. I might get you a score on that one. Corey misses his spot with a breaking ball. 2-1 now to Mitchell Schroeder, who had the only run for the Minutemen last night. Spinning a throw back to second. Sliding in safely is Travisano. O'Brien singled down the first base line to lead off the inning. That was a bunt single by Braden Sullivan. A wild pitch moved them both over, and then a single up the middle by Travisano brought them both in. And that's how the bread's been buttered for UMass in the inning. Off the end of the bat, base hit to right field. Rounding third and coming home is Travisano. It's 3-1 Minutemen.
And, UMass been ready to explode in that dugout for a while now. Again, they've put guys on. They've had their share of opportunities. And now, as we've seen often in these games, the momentum shift back and forth. The energy transfers from one side to the other. UMass is feeling it now.
Jack Beverly.
And now here's Jack Beverly, a walk and a strikeout tonight. Still nobody out in the frame. 3 in for UMass as they lead 3-1. Bunted down the first base line. Back to Corey. He makes no mistake this time. Finally, there's one away in the inning as Schroeder goes to second. Still 2 working in the Wildcat bullpen. You wonder how long the leash on Joel Corey is, knowing that the bullpen has been shaky for the Wildcats this season.
Pitch count getting up there a bit too, approaching 90 on the night. So yeah, I would imagine for the sophomore, still really working his way into that weekend role. I don't imagine it'll be much longer.
There's a strike, first pitch to the lefty Carter Hansen. Hansen struck out in the second, grounded out to second in the fourth. The 0-1. Fastball catches the inside corner and brushes Hansen back. No balls and 2 strikes. Got some finals for you from around the SWAC. Southeastern Louisiana 17, Alcorn State 2. 0-2. Outside 1-2. Runner on second, 1 out, 3 in the inning already. For the Minutemen, they lead 3-1. Swing and a miss. And down goes Beverly, or correction, Hansen for the second time tonight. Strikeout number 10 for Joel Corrin. And there's 2 away.
When that swing and miss comes back, when UMass is fooled by that, breaking ball that drifts away from them, that's when Corey's had the success. When they've kind of sat back on it, that's when UMass has had the upper hand.
Here's Colbin, singled in the second, which was the first UMass hit of the game, then struck out in the 5th. There's a strike. In Nacogdoches, Texas, it's Stephen F. Austin 4, Arkansas Pavlov 0, top of the second. Corey fires a strike at the knees, 0-2. Alabama State beat Missouri 10-2. That's a big result for the Hornets.
Wow. Missouri kind of struggling, though. They did lose to Stetson last week, too.
Check swing. He went. That's the end of the inning. So 2 strikeouts get the Wildcats out of a jam, but not for 4. 3 runs on 4 hits come across, and the Minutemen take a 3-1 lead. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Wildcats now in need of some offense. Can they find it? Here on the CatEye Network. Peter Vasquez will pinch hit for Ray Plasencia as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Wildcats down 3-1 after a 3-run inning in the top half from the UMass. Vasquez, the senior out of Puerto Rico, stands in to face Bobby McDonough. McDonough deals, and Vasquez puts a charge in, 1 out to right center field, and that's going to be dropped and get back to the wall. Vasquez, first pitch swinging, he's got a leadoff double. Hansen just couldn't quite come up with that basket catch over his head at full sprint.
That's a tough one, man. You have to read that one perfectly off the bat. Just kept going. They were playing a little bit in, and so no chance to come up with that one. Gave it a valiant effort, though, and that's a really great way to fire up a dugout that's in desperate need of a little bit of momentum.
And now Manny Suffrain, who has the only run scored for the Wildcats tonight. A walk and then scored all the way from first on the double by Irvin Escobar that really went to the exact same part of the park as Vasquez's double just was. Deep right center field. Suffrain watches one outside, ball one. And if you're the Wildcats, it's only the sixth. You don't need it all back here, but getting at least one, you'd feel decent about it. Maybe force UMass to think about some bullpen action. As McDonough's 1-0 is sky-high pop, shallow center. Moving back, the second baseman, Sullivan, makes the catch, and there's one away. Continuing a tough start to the year for Manny Suffrain. Just has never got any good contact on it.
Again, that's another one that's up in the zone, and he did a decent enough job not to pop that one straight up, but still just not enough to get that swing that he wants to put on it. And so it just ends up kind of as that weak, high, towering fly ball.
Well, here's Irvin Escobar, who last time up drove a RBI double to the right center field wall, and now he's got Vasquez on second, one out. Watches a breaking ball strike outside corner. Bit of a zone expansion that time from Royce Morrison. That outside corner has not usually been called a strike tonight. Long look back at second by McDonough and throws one in the dirt. The board says 2-2, but the umpire says 1-1, so I'll go with what the umpire says. Always a smart idea. One-one. Inside 2-1. When the Wildcats are this desperate for someone, anyone, to get some clutch hits, Irvin Escobar may have to be the guy here. 2 balls and a strike. Way upstairs as McDonough loses it out of the hand, 3-1.
You know, you talk about not having to get it all back at once. I think at this point for the Wildcats, the score isn't even what's important. It's you got to start seeing early base runners come home. It's becoming such a trend that it's easy to see the frustration continuing to pile on when it just doesn't happen.
And with bullpen action looming for the Cats, we'll see if the offense can pick Bethune-Cookman up here. 3-1. Foul to the third base side as aggressive swinging by Irvin Escobar means the count runs full. McDonough came in with nobody out in the inning in the 5th after Powers walked Rivera, and now the 3-2. Had to hit him. Hit by pitch. Escobar takes his base. 2 on, 1 out. Then immediately after he came in, McDonough, he walked Venegas, struck out Rodriguez, and then got Newton to ground into a double play to end the inning.
Well, for both sides, man, it's been a little bit of an adventure in this season, or in this series, I should say, about what's going to happen when you go to the bullpen. And for these Wildcats, we know that getting ahead by 1 or 2 runs might not even be enough based on at least the early signs we've seen. And UMass, not much different.
Now Darrell Lee. The Alabama native with 2 on, 1 out. First pitch from McDonough. Lee spins it towards third. Could be 2. On to second for 1. That's all they'll get. Beverly to Sullivan. So on with a fielder's choice is Darrell Lee. Moving to third is Peter Vasquez, and Escobar is out 5-4. And now here's Jamie Villafane, where you can't scratch across something with a sac fly now with 2 outs. Got to put one on the green bit. Villafane does have a Wildcat hit tonight, one of the only 2. Singled to left field back in the 4th, ended up being stranded there. That hit was with Irvin Escobar on second. Darrell Lee is going to trot towards second base, daring Colbin to throw at him. He will not. So Lee will take second on a steal.
How many times we see that last year? The Wildcats just flirting for that double steal attempt there. No bite.
One ball, no strikes. McDonough misses outside. And for those of you who did not listen to our broadcast last night, may I remind you that the back wall behind home plate is a country mile away from the bag, and if one gets back there, you can expect the runner on third, Peter Vasquez, to fly home. 3 balls, no strikes now. That's how the Wildcats took the lead in the 7th on a wild pitch. 3-0. Ball 4, bases loaded, 2 down. And the batter is Sergio Rivera, who's walked twice tonight.
Well, these are the kind of opportunities, well, still within this game that, again, even if it's not just for the fact that you can tie this game or go ahead here, you have to start seeing these go in, man. It's like taking the easy shots in basketball. I mean, when the three's not falling, sometimes you got to take it to the hoop. And these are the ones where they've so many times they've come up with strikeouts or these weak flyouts. It just hasn't really gone their way, and they need to start seeing them fall. And this is a really great opportunity here. And against a veteran guy in Rivera that has been here before and knows what it takes.
Some more results from around the SWAC from earlier today. Lindenwood swept Mississippi Valley in a doubleheader, 19-3 in the afternoon and 7-0 in the evening. Texas Southern played Incarnate Word this afternoon, but I cannot find a live stats link nor a box score, so we'll just let that one be, I guess. Southern and Florida A&M currently should be playing, but again, no live stats link for that one. First pitch, called a strike at the letters. Rivera tonight walked twice and has been stranded on third once and second once. The 0-1 from McDonough. Swinging a drive down the left field line. If that stays fair, it's trouble. It is a foul ball by inches.
Just kept on hooking down there. No wind like it was last night. That one just kept cutting. And just about 6 inches past the painted line out there.
That's how close we were to a tie ball game. And now the count's 0-2 on Sergio Rivera, and McDonough has a chance to work out of a big jam here. And I'll tell you what, the Minutemen dugout, they're about ready to explode if they get out of this one. In the dirt. Good job by Colbin to keep that one in front of him. He had a real adventurous back half of the game last night behind the dish, Colbin. Of course, the wild pitch allowed to run the score. Also had a pass ball in the late innings. A ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs, bases loaded. Wildcats down 2. McDonough deals. Outside 2-2. Sergio Rivera, the preseason All-SWAC second-teamer who has struggled for playing time behind Daniel Figueroa earlier in this season. But he's in now. The 2-2. Upstairs, full count. After 2 straight strikes, the strike and the foul ball, 3 straight misses from McDonough. Everybody here at the Jack on edge. The payoff. Hit him! And the Wildcats score. Rivera comes in on a hit-by pitch, takes his base. Vasquez in from third. Lee goes to third. Villafane to second, and of course Rivera on with the hit-by pitch, and it's 3-2.
Well, you take them how you can get them. Well, that's a pretty easy way to do it, but credit to Rivera there for staying in that bat, forcing the tough pitch there, and one just runs a little bit away from McDonough. And now you're really looking at a chance to give yourself the lead here, maybe a little bit of cushion.
Is that the end for McDonough? We'll see Jesus Venegas bat next for Bethune-Cookman. Venegas tonight popped out to the shortstop in the first, then walked in the third, walked, and was caught in the middle of a double play in the fifth. Again, the Wildcats will take a walk, because that would tie the game, and we got a new UMass pitcher. McDonough goes an inning and 2/3, gives up one on one hit, but he did walk he walked two and gave up 2 hit-by pitches, so 4 free passes for McDonough.
Looks like it's going to be Andrew Middleton.
And McDonough faces exactly 9 batters. You said Middleton is going to be the pitcher now?
Yes.
What is his number?
14.
14, thank you. Andrew Middleton, the sophomore from Canton, Massachusetts. Last year, 3 starts, 14 appearances, a respectable 4.63 ERA, 2-2 his record with 3 saves. Struck out 25 batters in 23 1/3 innings pitched. Before that was at Dexter Southfield High School. And he has been given a tough task. The Wildcats have the bases loaded, 1 already in the inning, down 3-2 here in the 6th. In the inning, Vasquez, who is pinch hitting for Ray Plasencia, doubled to right center. Then Sufrain popped out to second. Escobar was hit by a pitch. Darrell Lee hit a fielder's choice down the third baseline. Irvin Escobar was caught going to second. That put runners on the corners. Villafane walked that loaded to bases, and then Sergio Rivera almost thought he'd driven everybody in down the third baseline on one that landed about 6 inches foul. Then, from an 0-2 count, worked 4 straight balls, took his base, and a run came in as Vasquez walked in from third, and that's been the inning so far.
Well, the one thing you can't say the Wildcats haven't done is, put guys in positions to score, right? We were talking last night about all the straight innings that guys have been put on base. Guys have been put, given opportunities. It had been times with 2 outs. It had been times with no outs. I mean, they were sprinkling guys around. They just haven't had the big bats to come through to actually put up the numbers on the scoreboard. And, a hit by pitch is great, but it's still, not as satisfying for the guys on that dugout railing there as a nice bases clearing double would be. I think they're really in need of that here if they're going to hold on for a chance to win this game.
So Andrew Middleton is the pitcher. This is the first lefty the Wildcats have seen in this series. Everybody last night and then Powers and McDonough tonight have all been righties. Venegas watches one upstairs. And I was watching the warm-up pitches for Middleton, and he spiked a couple of them. So Colvin's got to be ready behind the plate with a runner on third. The 1-0 to Venegas. And it gets by to the backstop. Here's the pitch to the plate. Safe! In under the tag is Darrell Lee, and we're tied at 3. Well, history has a funny way of repeating itself, Bryce Wojnowski. Wild pitch last night, wild pitch tonight.
We talk so much about half of this game, if not more, is just taking advantage of opponent mistakes. And, well, again, you go back to Sergio Rivera, who works the long at bat that didn't necessarily start the way he wanted to, forces a hit by pitch. And when you lay off pitches like that and you're not swinging early, you're taking a couple balls, you force a wild pitch, and just like that, it's a tie game with a chance to make it even more.
I'll tell you what, though, that was a closer play at the plate than I thought it was going to be. The ball rebounded hard off the wall and came right back to Colvin. Now the ball count is 2-0 on Venegas, and he watches one a fastball, and it's 2-1. So Vasquez and Lee in the inning to tie things at 3 here at the Jack. Wildcats looking for more with Villafane on third, Rivera on second. Foul ball straight back to the screen, 2-2. And Venegas, who was great the first 4 games, didn't get a hit last night to break a streak, and then has been walked twice tonight. Hasn't gotten really a chance to put one in play. The 2-2 with 2 down. Breaking ball fouled away. And there is a precipitous drop-off in velocity from Middleton's fastball to his off-speed. And Venegas barely caught up to that one. Once again, the 2-2. 2 on, 2 in already in the inning to tie the game at 3. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Venegas goes down. Middleton picks up the strikeout, but 2 runs come across on 1 hit and 2 left. And we go to the 7th inning of play. We're right back where we started, tied at 3 here on the CatEye Network. Bethune-Cookman has a new pitcher as we head to the top of the 7th here at the Jack, tied at 3. It's the Miami-Dade College and Palm Beach State transfer Robert Lastra, the junior. Originally from Puerto Rico, grew up in Miami, played high school ball for Southside's High School and Palmetto High School. His 3rd appearance of the season for Lastra. First pitch, a swing and a miss by Mark Willie. Willie tonight struck out in the 2nd and fly to center of the 5th. Lastra with 1 appearance against Stony Brook. As there's a ball, 1-1.
For the Wildcats, number 25, Robert Lastra.
2/3 of an inning against Stony Brook and 1 inning against FIU. 1-1. Outside 2-1. Total, an inning and 2/3 has given up 1 run on 3 hits. The run was earned. Struck out 1, walked 1. One of those 3 hits was a double. He's hit 1 by a pitch. Swing and a miss from Willie. 2 balls and 2 strikes. His ERA is credited at 5.40, but still very early in the season. 2-2. Way outside 3-2. Lastra is trying to come in tonight and do what Zambrano did last night, which is come in and shut the Minutemen down and give your team a chance to win. Full count delivery to Willie. And Willie fouls it away. As we are about to cross the 8 o'clock hour here at the Jack. Thank you for keeping us company wherever you are watching and listening from. 3-2. High fly, left center field. Rivera moves over and makes the catch, calling off Rodriguez. 1 down. The 2nd straight fly to center for Mark Willie on the night. 1 away. The batter will be Sam Hill for UMass. Hill tonight struck out twice, both against Joel Corey. Or we might have a pinch hitter here. We will. Sam Hill will not bat in this spot. It will be
Now batting for the
Kyle Hogue.
Kyle Hogue.
Hogue played last night in the center field spot, currently occupied by Gavin O'Brien. And the first pitch from Lastra is low ball 1. Last night, Hogue lined out to third. Fantastic play by Martinez at third. Bunted, was out, and then walked. So 0 for 2 with a walk last night for Kyle Hogue. Pitch outside, count 3 balls and no strikes as Lastra struggled for a bit of command here. Three-0. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. The bat continues 3-1. And Robert Lastra has been an arm the Wildcats have looked to out of the pen, as there's ball 4. A pen that is beat up with injuries. Missing, of course, the talisman back there, Pablo Torres, one of the top relievers in the country.
It's just tough not necessarily having those confidence guys. Even a guy like Yoancel Diaz, who, yeah, maybe doesn't profile as a back-end, close-game type guy, but that veteran presence that you know you have, waiting on guys like that to come back.
1 on, 1 out. Gavin O'Brien watches a breaking ball outside, 1-0. O'Brien started the rally for the Minutemen in the 6th that got them 3 runs, singled down the first base line, eventually came in to score. 1-0 from Lastra. Fastball at the knees, 1-1. That downhill fastball from Lastra looks pretty good when he has it cooking at the bottom of the zone. But it's all about the consistency, as he's already walked 1 in the inning. And he comes up, and they're going to call that a foul ball, I believe.
Well, they're going to talk about it. One of those ones that might have hit off the knob of the bat.
Well, Gavin O'Brien is walking to first, and Hogue is going to second. It was originally called a foul ball, and it will stay that way.
Yeah, I think he kind of hurt himself a little bit there by trying to get out of the way and, you know, presented the very bottom of the barrel of the bat, and you could kind of hear it a little bit in addition to just how far that ball bounced.
Coach Reynolds in from third, wanting an explanation. Now Reynolds going to check on his hitter, Gavin O'Brien. Playing in his first collegiate game, O'Brien, the freshman. A freshman from Salisbury, Connecticut. Now the count is a ball and 2 strikes with 1 on, 1 out after the walk to Hogue. One, 2. Runner goes. Here's the throw to second. It is not in time. As in there safely is Hogue with a stolen base.
The thing is, there might have had a shot as the runner almost slides past the bag, but, you know, kind of presenting the ball to the official near him.
Jimmy
Didn't
Sapp,
see him.
the third base umpire, had a long look at it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The count on O'Brien now with a runner in scoring position here. And Lastra deals. Breaking ball, outside corner, count runs full. And we know that outside corner has not been given as a strike tonight by home plate umpire Royce Morrison. Both teams still trying to clip at it. Full count delivery now. Fastball, strike 3, rung him up at the knees. And there's 2 away in the inning on the reverse K by Lastra, his 2nd of the season. And now it's Braden Sullivan, the leadoff man.
Number 2, Braden Sullivan.
Sullivan's put the ball in play every time. Popped up to short in the first, grounded out to first in the third, and then had a bunt single that eventually came around to score as part of that 3-run 6th. Lastra misses low and away, ball 1. Long look in from Lastra. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, caught the bottom of the zone, 1-1.
That one felt a little generous from up here, like those a little further outside. Ones that we, as recently as the last batter, didn't really see called.
Sullivan started 37 games last year, was one time the Athletic 10 Rookie of the Week, excuse me. That one a little bit too low at its 2 balls and a strike. .256 the batting average for Sullivan last year as a freshman. 31 hits, 7 doubles, a triple, and 5 home runs. Had 26 RBI as well. The 2-1 from Lastra. Breaking ball, there's a strike, 2-2. Lastra trying to get out of the jam here and keep this game tied for the Wildcats offense. Ball gets away. Here's the throw to third. Out at third. What a recovery from Escobar as he fires over to get Hogue. And the Wildcats get out of the inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left. And we go to the bottom of the 7th, tied at 3 here on the CatEye Network. Michael Rodriguez leads off for the Cats in the bottom of the 7th. Tie game at 3. The pitcher for UMass is still Andrew Middleton. The 1-0. In the zone. 1-1. The Wildcats scratched 2 across on a double, 2 walks, and a hit by pitch, and a wild pitch in the last inning to tie the game at 3. Inside and low, 2-1. As the Wildcats got their first win of the season last night, look to clinch their first series of the year tonight against the UMass Minutemen, playing their 2nd game of the year. Waited a week to start their season, UMass, as that one slices through the zone, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Rodriguez, who tonight reached on an error, flew out to center, and struck out in his 3 plate appearances. 2-2. He hits this one to center field, but straight at O'Brien, who makes the catch. So the second fly out to center for Rodriguez tonight. And there's one away. And here's Armani Newton, who is 0 for 3. Newton grounded out to second in the first, popped out to short in the third, and then grounded out into a 6-3 double play to end a promising 5th inning for the Wildcats. First pitch, a curveball low, ball 1 from Middleton. Armani Newton, the Florida Gulf Coast transfer, Didn't see a lot of action for the Eagles last year. Count is no balls and 2 strikes. But from an FGCU program that just mashes baseballs. Here's the 2-0. Swing and a miss. And it's 2-1. And we saw Newton put that on full display last Sunday as he hit 2 home runs.
That was a big home run swing right there, too. A little bit too high on it there, though. Even if you catch up to that one, it's probably just a chopper on the infield.
The 2-1. Opposite field down the left field line and foul into the BCU bullpen. So the count goes 2-2. Wildcats only have 3 hits tonight. And have had to rely on some pitching and defensive chaos as they did last night. And a big cut and miss. The ball gets away from the catcher Coleman down to first. And the ball gets away and goes into the bullpen. Now back to first. Out at first on the reach is Newton. What a crazy play. Newton saw the ball go into the bullpen, but Sullivan was covering and he threw back to Willie at first to get the out, and there's 2 away. My goodness. You're going to have to tell me how to score that one.
So I think what we're going to go there is a strikeout swinging, and E2 allows him to get to first, but then he's out for 3 on the cover there. So strikeout swinging, E2, 4-3.
That's a busy little box in my scorecard.
And hey, it's a good thing I had to practice last night in the stat program here, and the drop third strike.
Cut and miss from Peter Vasquez. The 1-1 is the count. Vasquez doubled to deep right center field and came around to score as a pinch hitter for Ray Plasencia back in the 6th. One ball, 2 strikes now as Middleton looks for a quick bottom of the 7th. The 7th is where the Wildcats did their damage last night, scoring 3 runs. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, and down goes Vasquez. A quick inning from Middleton. Nothing for the Cats, and we go to the 8th, still tied at 3 here on the CatEye Network. By virtue of him being in the batter's box when Kyle Hogue was caught stealing in the 7th, Braden Sullivan leads off the 8th for UMass in a 3-3 ball game here at the Jack. Wildcats looking to win the series. UMass looking to tie it and force a decider tomorrow. And Robert Lastra is still pitching. Misses badly with that first one. Bounces it to the backstop. 1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0, inside almost hit Sullivan. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, unlike a lot of these Northeast teams that come down and sweep through the Florida schedule and play a bunch of teams down here for a couple weeks, UMass is going right back to the Northeast after this. 2-0, upstairs 3-0, as they've got a 3-game set with the Coppin State Eagles in Maryland. That's next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Lastra behind 3-0, and ball 4 in, and a leadoff walk for Sullivan.
When you put guys on to leadoff innings, good things happen more often than not, and UMass has done that fairly consistently throughout the series thus far. And again, it's just, we talk about the Wildcats kind of flirting with it. Feels like every time, just about every inning, they've just flirted with it. It feels like UMass again on the brink here of going back ahead.
This is the 3rd time the leadoff man has been on tonight for UMass. Back in the 2nd, Jack Beverly walked. In the 6th, Gavin O'Brien singled down the first baseline. That was the 3-run inning for the Minutemen. And now in the 8th, Brendan Sullivan walks. Ball outside after Matt Travisano pulled a bunt back. Travisano struck out twice against Joel Corey, but singled up the middle and scored in the 6th as part of that 3-run outburst for the Minutemen. And they will be keeping a close eye on Braden Sullivan over at first. The Wildcats did get 2 pickoffs at first last night, and they got 1 caught stealing tonight. The 1-0, squaring a bunt, dropping it down the first base line. Sufrain flips it to the covering Venegas, 1 away, but Travisano does the job and moves Sullivan over to second base with 1 out. The rare 3-4 put out.
You know, we talked about it a little bit over the break, but covering bases like that doesn't always get the credit it deserves. That's a really nice heads-up play by Venegas. It's so easy to, you know, rely on the pitcher to leg that one out or just kind of stay in your position there. But to run over and make that heads-up play, it's a lot bigger than it looks.
That looks like it'll be the end for Lastra, as Coach Hernandez is going to come out to the mound. Interesting decision here by, you know, getting Lastra faces 2 batters in the inning, and then, oh, well, we're done. Going to the next guy.
Well, I wouldn't say they've been the cleanest couple of batters. The problem with Lastra's outing is when he's missed pretty badly.
So Lastra goes an inning and a 3rd, gives up no hits, 2 walks, and strikes out 1.
Looks like that's going to give way to Carlos Hazmin.
Will be the 2nd appearance on the year for Hazmin. The right-hander from Puerto Rico, Hazmin, a sophomore this year. Last year, 8 games out of the bullpen, a 6 ERA and 9 full innings, 11 strikeouts, 3 walks, opponent batting average of .317. It's someone the coaching staff expects to take a pretty significant jump from freshman to sophomore year.
And a lot of that jump is expected because added a couple miles per hour to the fastball over the offseason. Definitely a little bit different of a look here for a Wildcats team that's really started to build up the velocity in the back of this pen, making an effort to bring in guys who can reach those mid-90s, which we know in the SWAC in particular tends to play very well when guys just aren't used to seeing it, especially those teams out west. We see it every year tournament time, but Hazmin, a guy that can get up there into the 90s and the low 90s, give it a little bit of pop. We'll see if he can locate and translate it into some outs here. Wildcats are going to need it because, again, it feels like UMass is knocking on the door.
Hazmin in his first 2 appearances against Stony Brook last Saturday, went an inning and a 3rd, gave up a run on no hits, walked 1, struck out 2 with 1 wild pitch, and then he threw 1 inning in the 10-0 loss to FIU on Wednesday, gave up nothing in that one. His ERA is currently 0 as he's given up no earned runs so far, and no hits, in fact, in 2 1/3 innings. Last year, his ERA, as I mentioned, was 6 in 8 appearances, 9 innings pitched, 9 runs on 13 hits, 6 earned, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts is a good ratio. Gave up 2 doubles, no other extra base hits, and had an opponent batting average of .317. And Hasmin maybe, as a freshman last year, got buried behind some of those better arms in the bullpen come clutch time.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to really settle in when most of your assignments are kind of mop-up duty, even if that's just because, you know, you're new to the team or not necessarily an upperclassman.
Hasmin's first pitch is a breaking ball low to Mitchell Schroeder. Schroeder popped out to short in the first, struck out in the fourth, and had the 2 RBI single in the sixth. That scored Sullivan and Travisano. Another breaking ball by Hasmin. That one finds the heart of the zone. Hasmin is one of those pitchers that pitches backwards, quote unquote. A lot of pitchers will use the fastball or the changeup to set up the breaking ball. He'll use the breaking ball to set up the hard stuff. And sometimes he can hang those breaking balls. That time he goes with the fastball chopper to short. Fielded by Villafane across the diamond in time. And a nice stretch by Soufrain for out number 2. That's all you need as a pitcher. Right? Soft contact to the infield. The defense does the job.
That was hit fairly hard. I mean, a nice job by Villafane playing that off the nice turf hop there. You know, in a regular natural grass ballpark. Might have been a little tougher one off of the infield, but that one, nice bounce, makes the play over to first.
Nice slide by Escobar behind the plate to keep that one in front of him. First pitch to Jack Beverly, who walked in the second, struck out of the fourth, and bunted to get some runners across over in the sixth.
There's our ball from the bullpen sailing in.
Yeah, we had 2 last night, and now 1 tonight. We're going to keep track of that all year.
We are not, but I like the sentiment.
Well, I'll come back in 2 weeks and be like, what were we talking about again?
Yeah, exactly right.
The 1-0. Breaking ball low, 2-0. If you're watching from further afield and don't frequent our broadcasts, the only parts of this ballpark that are actual dirt is the mound and the circle around home plate. Everything else, including the track on the outfield, is field turf. And Bethune-Cookman was one of the first teams to play on the field turf right after it got installed a couple years ago, before the Tortugas even did. But Atlantic High School was actually the first team to play here. Two balls, no strikes. In the dirt, 3-0 as Hasmin can't get the fastball in the zone. And for a guy last year who only walked 3 batters, command has got to be his calling card here. 3-0 the count. And he'll just fire one right down the middle.
PCU Hoops has gone final. Men taking down Alabama A&M 68-64.
Let's go snap a losing streak for the men, get them back on track a little bit.
Got a little close down the end. They were ahead by 10 with just a couple minutes left, and A&M gave them a little bit of a scare.
3-1. Fastball in the zone at the knees, 3-2. Hasmin trying to come back in the AB. The women gave Alabama A&M a big scare, but they couldn't hold on at the end there. They had 5 players foul out in that game.
That's a couple of games now against top SWAC competition where they've been very, very competitive or led at times.
The full count delivery from Hasmin. Ball 4 over-rotated on it. And there's 2 on with 2 outs. Second walk of the inning, one by Lastra, now one by Hasmin. The batter will be Carter Hansen, who's 0 for 3. 2 strikeouts and a ground ball to second in the game tonight.
Now batting number 10,
Hansen,
Carter Hansen.
0 for 5 on the young season now with a walk and 2 strikeouts. Make that 4 strikeouts, 2 last night, 2 tonight. But he's got a shot to give the Minutemen the lead with 2 outs in the 8th and runners on first and second. Carlos Hasmin winds and fires in the dirt.
And it's just something about not having Pablo Torres. You know, I don't want to give any excuses or put it all on him, but something about not having that guy in the back of the bullpen to come in situations like this or to really know that you've got somebody waiting for you in the back end. It certainly adds another layer to guys like Hasmin, who are still a little bit younger, still kind of finding their footing at the Division I level. Don't have that safety blanket.
1-0. Swing and a miss. And that is the advantage of Hasmin's breaking ball.
That's the kind of swings you'll see a lot in the SWAC. Guys are not prepared for that level of mileage on that fastball and just swing right through it. Tough to catch up. Got to make a quick decision.
The 1-1. Outside, 2-1. I mentioned it a couple of times now. Royce Morris and the home plate umpire has been very consistent. That outside corner is a no-fly zone tonight. You would think with the narrow strike zone it would get some more offense, but it hasn't really happened tonight. 2 balls and a strike. Hasmin got the call. 2-2. Wildcats trying to get out of it in a tie ball game in the 8th. And the pitch. Breaking ball chopped softly right in front of the mound. Hasmin throws to first. Save! There was a bit of a miscommunication between Hasmin and Escobar between who would get that. And an infield single by Hansen loads the bases with 2 down.
Well, that's, again, UMass, pretty consistent formula for them offensively. They've just continued to make things happen. Whether it's little swings like that, really hustling out a ball that might not have a lot of promise off the bat, or the walks and the hit by pitches, they're just continuing to put that pressure on, and there just haven't been answers from the BCU bullpen to this point.
That one feels like one you should have had. The batter is Ryan Colvin, bases loaded. 2 down as the ball comes flying in from the bullpen. There's number 2 tonight.
Oh, above average.
Yeah.
That's 4 in 2 games. I think we might have been low on our 0.75 per game. And I say that now we'll get like 4 straight games we don't have any. So still probably dead on.
Hasmin to Colvin, buckles him with the breaking ball. Similar spot that we saw Zambrano in last night. Bases loaded, 2 down. Breaking ball swing and a miss. 0-2 the count on Colvin, who tonight singled in the 2nd, was stranded on 2nd, then struck out twice in the 5th and 6th. Hasmin stares down Colvin and delivers the 0-2. Got him! Swing and miss. End of the inning. Minutemen strand 3, and we're still tied as we go to the bottom of the 8th here on the CatEye Network. To the bottom of the 8th we go, still tied at 3. The Wildcats got 1 in the 4th. The Minutemen got 3 in the top of the 6th. The Wildcats responded with 2 in the bottom of the inning.
Wildcats, number 16, Manny Sufo.
And then both teams have threatened since then, but neither team has been able to push one across. UMass leaving the bases loaded in the last inning. Manny Soufrain leads off. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored tonight. First pitch breaking ball strike from Andrew Middleton, the lefty sophomore out of Canton, Massachusetts. Making appearance number 15 at the college level, Middleton, after 14 last year. That's another breaking ball strike that Soufrain didn't really agree with, but he's behind 0-2. Soufrain is 2 outs for a ground ball to first and a pop-up to second. He's behind 0-2 to Middleton here. And Andrew deals. Check swing, strikeout looking. Soufrain down on 3 pitches and there's 1 away. And it doesn't feel like there's any answers coming out of that Wildcat dugout right now.
And it's been up and down. I mean, you've had a few bright spots here or there, but it's no different than the entire start to this season. You got a couple guys who've been okay. Irvin Escobar, one of them. You hope maybe can get things started here, but it really just feels like it's either overly aggressive or maybe sometimes the opposite.
Here is Irvin Escobar, maybe the brightest spot tonight.
Now batting number 22.
Had an RBI double to score Manny Soufrain in the 4th before being caught coming home on the single by Jamie Villafana. He tried to leg it out from second on 1 hit to shallow right. Or sorry, shallow left. Count is 2-0 as Middleton misses 2 of them high. And that decision to send Escobar home from second on the little bloop. 3-0. Looms large in this game. And I'm sure we'll talk to Coach Hernandez afterwards, and he'll probably tell us all about it.
It's the little things like that that did change the whole course of a game.
3 balls, no strikes. Ball 4 on 4 pitches. So 3-pitch strikeout to Escobar, to Soufrain, excuse me. 4-pitch walk to Escobar. And there's 1 on 1 out. The batter is Darrell Lee.
And just here you go again. Just the 1 out, guy on base. You just got to find a gapper or work a couple straight singles or something, man. It just doesn't feel like they had a clean rally. Even when they've been able to score, it's hit by pitch and wild pitches. Tough to give a ton of credit to the lineup when that's the way you're scraping them by.
Up and in to Darrell Lee. Lee tonight struck out in the 2nd, popped out in foul territory to 3rd base in the 4th, and then reached on a fielder's choice in the 6th. Ended up coming around to score on a stolen base and a wild pitch. And Middleton's 1-0 is a breaking ball that slashes through the zone 1-1. The scoreboard says 2-0, but I thought that was a strike. There is a strike, swing and a miss from Lee. Yeah, count is 1-2. It is a little hard to see home plate umpire Royce Morrison's strike call. It's right in front of his body. Of course, we're sitting behind the plate. Time called. And now Lee stands back in. Lee's been one of those guys that can, get on, little bloop single, run the bases really well. But again, it hasn't been working for the Wildcats at the plate tonight as Middleton comes home with it. Swing and a miss, and there's 2 away. So 2 strikeouts sandwiching the walk to Escobar, and here's Jamie Villafana.
It's been the swings like that that have been killer. I mean, they're such big swings. I mean, that's a fence swing. That's not taking an easy swing, punching it over the infield, putting something out in the grass. That's trying to take it all back in one swing, and that's been where there have just been too many like that that have compounded and turned into quick innings.
And now with 2 away, here's Villafana. Villafana has been on base twice tonight. Watches 1 inside, ball 1. Flied out to left in the 3rd, singled to left in the 4th. That was the one where Irvin Escobar tried to come home from second. It was caught out 7-2. Upstairs 2-0. Then in the 6th, Villafana walked. Got to 3rd on a wild pitch, but ended up being stranded there. 2-0. Upstairs 3-0. So 3 straight balls. 3 straight strikes, excuse me, 4 straight balls, 3 straight strikes, and now 3 straight balls again.
Not sure you see that very often.
The 3-0 is ball 4, so now 4 straight balls.
Talk about feast or famine. It don't get much more than that.
The 2 on, 2 out. The batter is the 9-hole hitter, Sergio Rivera, who's been on base all 3 times tonight, but 2 walks and a hit by pitch. And that might be the end for Middleton, as there has been a pitcher working in the UMass bullpen.
Well, if the trend is to continue here, the obvious choice is to leave him in, because we're about to see 3 straight strikes.
Yeah, you're right. You are correct.
I think it's just going to be a conversation.
I think you're right. I think this is just the pitching coach, Brad and Shilkis.
Either way, by no means the way that this has gone does it feel like next score wins, as it looks like maybe we're going to have a pinch runner
at second, yep. So Irvin Escobar is going to come out. And the pinch runner for the Wildcats at second will be Jorge Gonzalez-Febo. That's an interesting call.
It's the second time that he's done that in the early season. A guy who's coming back from a hand injury who really could provide a big-time boost for this lineup and for this defense when he does come back. The freshman from last year, a year under his belt. We're excited to see what he can bring, but for now, been using pinch run duty, which is a little questionable. I mean, a guy with serious wheels, but when you're dealing with a hand injury, I'm not sure that the first place I'd want to put you is the potential to be sliding into bases.
Sergio Rivera stands in. 2 on, 2 out. Strikeout, walk from Middleton, and he starts with a strike.
That's shouldn't be a surprise.
That's incredible. Rivera, as I mentioned tonight, he's been on base 3 times, 2 walks and a hit by pitch. And he's been stranded on second twice and third once. Hasn't been around to score. The 0-1. Check swing, strike. Caught the outside corner, 0-2. And Middleton, just like the last inning, looks to strike out his way out of a jam. He got Vasquez swinging to end the 7th. He's got Rivera down 0-2 here in the 8th. And he deals. Swing and a miss, and that's it. Strikeout, walk, strikeout.
An immaculate inning with 2 walks sprinkled in between. That's unbelievable.
We go to the 9th, still tied at 3 here on the CatEye Network. Ninth inning time here at the Jack. Carlos Jasmin stays in to pitch for Bethune-Cookman. Mark Willie leads off for the Minutemen in a 3-3 tie. After Jasmin struck out Colbin to keep the bases loaded for the Minutemen in the last inning. First pitch, breaking ball strike. Willie 0 for 3, a strikeout and 2 flyouts to center tonight. With one defensive change for the Wildcats, as Jorge Rodriguez is in to play catcher, the senior out of Puerto Rico and Wabash Valley College. 26 games last year for Wabash Valley. There's a strike from Hasmin. Three all here, top 9. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Fastball low and away, and down goes Willie, his second strikeout tonight.
Well, and it's a lot easier to get those swings and misses when you start out up in the count. And it's been pretty consistent no matter who's been in this game. When they've been able to get ahead early, we saw Corey have a ton of success with it and on into the bullpen. When they've fallen behind early, UMass has had a little bit more flexibility and been able to do what they want.
That was the 15th Wildcats strikeout of the game, by the way.
Which haven't been a ton of those early in the season.
First pitch outside and low to Kyle Hogue. Corey had 9, then gave way to Lastra, who got 1. And now Hasmin has 2, so I must have miscounted. Breaking ball, strike outside corner, 1-1. I'll let the official stats man tell me if I was wrong.
The official stats man is going to take a minute to pull that one out.
The 1-1 breaking ball slashes through for strike 2. Hasmin the 1-2. Oh, just missed low with the breaking ball. 2 balls. Oh, sorry, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, that's correct. Hogue pinch hit for Sam Hill in the 7th. Walked and was caught stealing to end the frame, going to third. The 2-2. Way outside, count runs full.
You said you had 15 strikeouts, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
12 for Corey. Lastra had 1.
12 for Corey. I thought he had 9. My apologies.
12, 1, and then 2 for Hasmin.
So that means
now.
Corey, in his first 2 games, has 24 strikeouts.
That's nuts at this level.
That's unbelievable. The 3-2. Line drive, base hit to left field. And Hogue is on for the 2nd straight time since subbing in for Sam Hill.
Well, nothing's been easy on that BCU pitching staff, on that BCU defense.
7th hit of the game for UMass. The Wildcats have just 3. And yet, we're still tied with 1 out here in the top of the 9th. The batter is Gavin O'Brien. O'Brien has struck out twice and singled down the first base line.
Number 16, Gavin O'Brien.
And came around to score the first UMass run of the game back in the 3-run 6th, where the Minutemen did all their damage. Hasmin deals. Breaking ball, strike, caught the corner. Hasmin, a former top 100 product coming out of Puerto Rico according to Perfect Game, and a top 20 pitching product. The 0-1. Breaking ball in the exact same spot, strike 2. As a motorcycle flies by on Orange Avenue. Hasmin well ahead in this count. And he deals. Breaking ball. Looked like the exact same spot for the 3rd time in the row, but Royce Morrison doesn't give it to him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The sophomore Hasmin against the freshman O'Brien. Outside, a little bit too far. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a couple of exasperated sighs from the Wildcat fans in attendance. That thinks that should have been strike 3 twice now. Breaking ball again. This time he buckles O'Brien. 3rd strikeout of the game for Gavin, all looking. And there's 2 away in the inning. And we go back to the top of the order. Here's Braden Sullivan.
I like the commitment to the breaking ball there. Very easily could have turned back around and tried to whip out the fastball, but when he was pretty clear he wasn't going to get a whole lot of an offering there from O'Brien. Just kept hammering it and squeaked it inside the zone the last time through, and is rewarded with it.
Braden Sullivan.
Sullivan tonight popped out to short in the first, grounded to third in the third. Well, sorry, grounded to first in the third. First pitch to him is low, ball one. Had a bunt single in the sixth, eventually came around to score on the Mitchell Schroeder 2 RBI single, and then walked and was stranded on third last inning. That was part of the bases loaded, stranded situation for UMass in the eighth. Asmin outside with the fastball. 2 balls, no strikes. So after starting 2 straight batters with 2 strikes, he's now behind 0-2 to Braden Sullivan. Asmin trying to keep the status quo as it is and give the Wildcats a chance to walk it off. Sullivan fouls it away, 2 balls and 1 strike. These 2 teams will complete the 3-game set tomorrow at noon. That's noon on the game tomorrow. We'll have it for you here on the CatEye Network. Kenny Scherliger handling the play-by-play duties along with Bryce. The 2-1. Fouled away again. That time Hasmin went for the fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As I make my annual pilgrimage over to the FHSAA State Soccer Championships to help cover those.
Down at Spec Martin, right?
Yep. A little bounce back and forth between Spec Martin and Auburndale.
Down at the Spec.
2-2. Breaking ball. Upstairs. Here's the throw. Oh, yeah! Kyle Hogue is caught stealing, and down goes UMass. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Wildcats need 1 to walk it off. Tied at 3 here on the CatEye Network. What a throw by Rodriguez behind the plate. It's bottom 9 time at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, and it's the top of the lineup for Bethune-Cookman. And a tie ball game at 3. Jesus Venegas leads off. Still without a hit in this series. Watches one upstairs and out, ball 1 from Andrew Middleton, who has cruised through the Wildcats order, retired 7 out of 9, the only base runners on 2 walks in the last inning. Venegas pops it sky high just behind the infield of the left-hand side. Travisano camps under it and makes the catch. 1 away. Second P6 for Venegas tonight.
Just not been consistent hard contact. UMass has pitched a nice game, but the Wildcats haven't done themselves any favors either.
Michael Rodriguez bats now. Reached on an error in the first, but after that, 2 flies to center and a strikeout. for a top part of the Wildcats order, the top three, Venegas, Rodriguez, Newton, have no hits tonight. Count is 0-1 to Rodriguez. Middleton continuing to cruise out of the bullpen. Comes inside and almost hits Rodriguez. That's not what you want to do, especially Rodriguez is so fast. He'll be stealing immediately. Just to try and put anything on base for the Wildcats, maybe. You know, they've relied on some chaos, some wild pitches, some errors to score their runs in this series. All you got to do is put the pressure on, and sometimes pressure cracks pipes. Rodriguez swinging for the fences, hacks at it, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
All those big swings have come on stuff up in the zone. They're just not sitting back on it. They're hunting that high fastball, and it's never really once resulted in anything positive.
One-two from Middleton. Whoa, look out. Colbin doing his best hockey goalie impression with the glove work to keep that one from going to the backstop, although not that it matters, there's nobody on base. But still, he's had some real work back there this weekend. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Rodriguez. Watches one inside. The UMass fans and dugout wanted that one to be strike 3, but the count runs full. The Wildcats will be back tomorrow at noon and then Tuesday against Indiana State, another team that can really hit the cover off the baseball. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Rodriguez hacks at it and misses again, and there's 2 away.
And again, it's up in the zone. I don't know what's gotten into the lineup that they're hunting that pitch so bad, but I would throw it every time if I'm UMass because it's never been close. But like these, like you're swinging an axe trying to catch up with that, and it's every time. They're not laying off at all.
Here's Armani Newton now as the UMass defense goes to their customary overshift, putting 3 on the right-hand side, and Newton watches a fastball strike low and away. Newton 0 for 4 tonight. Grounded to second in the first, popped up to short in the third. Breaking ball, strike, catches the bottom part of the zone 0-2. Grounded into an inning-ending double play with 2 on base in the 5th, and then struck out in the 7th, reached on an error, and then was caught in that wild sequence where he overran it and he strikes out. 1, 2, 3 go the Cats in the 9th, and for the first time in 2025, we've got extra baseball. We go to the 10th coming up here on the CatEye Network. Well, we go to the 10th, still tied at 3. UMass has definitely looked like the team that is more likely to score in the late innings. Carlos Jasmin still on the mound for the Wildcats. Getting set for his 3rd inning of work, breaking ball strike. Braden Sullivan, for the 2nd time tonight, was in the batter's box when a runner was caught stealing to end the frame. It happened to him in the 6th and the 9th. He hits one high in the air, left center field, going back towards the wall. It is off the wall, and it's a double for Braden Sullivan. It's tough to see out there right in front of that Daytona Toyota sign, but Rivera just couldn't come up with it.
And the white in front of the scoreboard makes it even tougher, but there's UMass, man, continuing to put the pressure on. And again, when you're down a guy like Pablo Torres in the bullpen, and you've already burned your top 3 guys in an already understaffed unit, it's going to be Jasmin to try to figure this one out. 37 pitches for him so far. Probably towards the end of what would usually be his leash, but might be relied on to do another step just with all the banged up down there.
Now here's Travisano, 1 for 4 tonight. Base hit and an RBI in the 6th. Other than that, a sac bunt and 2 strikeouts. And the go-ahead run on second with nobody out after the leadoff double by Sullivan. Big old breaking ball, didn't break hard enough. This is the zone upstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. There's one Bethune-Cookman pitcher standing out there in the bullpen, not throwing. Nobody up for UMass because, well, Andrew Middleton has been stellar. There's a swing and a miss. And the Wildcats, we often talked about last year that they let pitchers beat them. Tonight's been a little more of the same. Big, heavy swings, swinging early in counts, easy innings. 1-2. Squaring to bunt, putting it down the first base line. It's going to stay fair. No, it's going to go foul.
Just barely. Just barely. I thought for sure it was going to tick the corner of the first base bag.
Yeah, I thought so too. Wildcats lucky to get out of that one. Travisano almost pulled the heist of the century. We've already had a bunt single tonight for UMass. It was Sullivan back in the 6th. He bunted it right back to the pitcher and Lastra at the time, and Escobar completely miscued it. Now the 2-2. Breaking ball misses inside, full count on Matt Travisano. Lots of energy from the UMass dugout and the UMass fans that have made the trip down here. Full count. Off the end of the bat, we'll do it again. Wildcats will stay at home, both the midweeker against Indiana State on Tuesday and a 4-game set next weekend. Friday, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday against the Hawks of Maryland Eastern Shore. Here's the 3-2. Upstairs, hit him. Would have been ball 4 anyway. 2 on, nobody out. And when does the hook come from the Bethune-Cookman dugout?
I do give Jasmin some credit. I mean, he's battled out there. 44 pitches for him. Like I said, I don't think we'll usually see this long of an outing for him, just the sophomore. But again, I just don't know how much confidence Coach Hernandez and the rest of that coaching staff has in who's to come behind him.
His longest outing last year was 45 pitches. He did that twice, once against South Florida and once against Mississippi Valley. As the batter will be Mitchell Schroeder, 2 on, nobody out. UMass in a excellent position here in the top of the 10th. Then, so far this season, through 25 pitches against Stony Brook and 13 against Florida International. Squaring to bunt, dropping it down in front of the plate. This time, Rodriguez, the catcher, will take it. And there's one away, but both runners move up 90 feet. Second and third, 1 out.
Smart play by UMass. Got the benefit there of no outs. So you're able to move the runners up like that, and now you're just one swing away, one ball in the outfield away from putting it in front against a Wildcats team that just hasn't inspired a lot of confidence on the other end to come back and walk it off.
We're going to leave
Jack Beverly.
Hasmin out there as Jack Beverly bats for UMass. Second and third, one out. Swinging a chopper. That'll be a foul ball and hit home plate. Beverly tonight walked in the second, struck out in the fourth, had a sac bunt in the sixth that set up for 2 runs with Sullivan and Travisano, and then walked in the eighth and was stranded on second as part of that bases loaded jam that Hasmin worked himself out of. In the dirt, Rodriguez keeps it in front of him. Beverly, the senior, one of the few upperclassmen on this team. Trying to put his team in front, set them up for their first win of the year. Bounce to the plate. Rodriguez does well again to keep it in front of him. 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, last night the game was decided by a wild pitch when the Wildcats broke the tie in the 7th. Rodriguez has now saved 2 from going to the backstop in the last 2 pitches. Breaking ball caught the inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out on the sac bunts after a double and a hit by pitch to Sullivan and Travisano respectively to start the 10th. 2-2. Foul ball chopped to the third base side. Infield all the way in, playing on the edge of the grass. Manny Sufrena first is on the infield grounds. The 2-2 to Beverly, second and third, 1 down, tied, 3 in the 10th. Hammered to left field. The catch is made by Rodriguez. Scoring from third is Sullivan on the tag, and UMass goes ahead 4-3.
Well, we knew it was a matter of time. Using a little bit of small ball, and all you got to do is put one in the grass in the outfield, put one in the air, and someone's going to come on home. And now the ball's in the Wildcats' court. You're going to have to show kind of a level of grit, especially offensively, that we haven't really seen a lot of early in the year, but not out of the woods yet.
Well, the senior Beverly gives the Minutemen the lead. Here's another senior, Carter Hansen from Bloomington, Minnesota. Hansen tonight, 1 for 4, 2 strikeouts, a grounder to second, and a little chopper infield single back to the mound. That was the one that confused Escobar and Lastra. I'm not sure what the hold is. Are we going to have a pinch hitter, pinch runner? No, just a conference between Hansen and the coach over at third. Matt Reynolds. So Hansen digs into the lefty batter's box to face Carlos Hasmin, who's working up near 50 pitches now. First pitch to him is a strike. Fastball up near the letters. UMass has taken the lead. A double by Sullivan, a hit by pitch to Travisano, sack bunt by Schroeder to get them both over, and a line out to left that brought Sullivan in on the tag. Swing and a miss, a big uppercutter as that one dove into the dirt. 0-2 now on Hansen.
That breaking ball is a really nice pitch. For him to still be able to have that 53 pitches into this game. It's one that starts out over the heart of the plate and just cuts right down by the knees. Never have a chance.
Well, it's on the Wildcat bats in the bottom of the frame to do something. They haven't done anything since the 6th. And another one. Big cut and miss at the breaking ball, and down goes Hansen. But one run, one hit, one left. And we go to the bottom of the 10th. Wildcats need at least one to stay alive here on the CatEye Network. UMass leads 4-3, bottom 10. Wildcats, who have not scored since the 6th, not at a base runner since the 8th. Down to their last ups here in the ballgame, and it'll be a pinch hitter.
Wildcats, number 10,
Josh Rodriguez is going to pinch hit for the pinch hitter. So Peter Vasquez comes in, gets 2 ABs, gets a double, a run scored, and a strikeout. Now it's going to be the sophomore, Josh Rodriguez from West Palm Beach, to try and give the Wildcats a good start here in the bottom of the 10th. The pitcher is still Middleton, and he's still hammering the strike zone. Middleton's been in since the 6th inning. There's a ball, 1-1. 7 of the 10 strikeouts for UMass tonight have been Middleton's since the 6th. Josh Rodriguez, as I mentioned, the sophomore from West Palm. Gets a piece of one, fouls it away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rodriguez started his collegiate career at Bryant and Stratton and Forest Hill High School before that in Palm Beach. And he has been brought in a massive spot. Only his 2nd at-bat of the season, had one against FIU where he struck out.
Just trying to infuse some kind of life into a team that with the bat really hasn't shown much tonight.
The 1-2 from Middleton. Fouled straight back. We'll do it again. So this is the 3rd batter now hitting in the 4 spot for the Wildcats. Plasencia started, struck out twice. Then Vasquez doubled, scored, and struck out. And now Josh Rodriguez here in the 10th. Once again, the 1-2 from Middleton. Upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wildcats trying to avoid dropping another game in which they had the lead. Would be their 3rd of the season. Swing and a miss, drop 3rd strike. Coleman this time corrals it, and there's out number 1. 8th strikeout from Middleton since the 6th inning.
It's just the signs have been rough. I mean, it's not like there's been a lot of hard contact. It's not like there's been some bad bounces. They really haven't put the ball in play consistently. And sometimes that's half the battle. Just a lot of swings, a lot of ill-advised swings, and it's cost them.
And it's soft contact, soft ground balls. A lot of pop-ups tonight for the Wildcats. Here's Manny Soufrain. Up and in, brushes him back, ball one. Soufrain tonight grounded out to first in the second. Walked and scored on the Escobar double in the fourth. That put the Wildcats on top. Then popped out on the infield in the sixth and struck out in the eighth. Middleton now working his third time through the Wildcats order. Comes inside, almost hits it. And you mentioned it earlier, Bryce. Last year, the theme with Manny Soufrain was everybody pitching him away. This year, it seems everybody's trying to jam it.
Well, really, I'd pitch this entire Wildcats lineup thus far this season, high and inside.
There's a strike. 2-1.
I mean, anything up near the letters has been disastrous for this team. I mean, they're popping them up. They're really more often than not missing them by 3 inches.
Soufrain, the all-SWAC preseason second-teamer. Looks at the 2-1 from Middleton. Swing and a miss, 2-2. He's aiming for the stars and just missed it, as has pretty much everybody on this Wildcats team tonight. The team leader in homers last year, team leader in OPS, top 10 of the SWAC last year, 946 for Soufrain. 2-2. Got a piece of it to stay alive. Not only was he named preseason All-SWAC second team this year, he was regular season All-SWAC second team last year. The 2-2 with 1 down in the 10th. Outside, the breaking ball started out there and kept going, and the count runs full. The payoff from Middleton. Upstairs, ball 4. That's a really nice at-bat by Manny Soufrain.
And those at-bats have been few and far between. We're going to get another first-time look in the lineup tonight. Maybe provide a little bit of a spark here.
This is Jorge Rodriguez, who has been deputizing behind the plate for
Jorge Rodriguez.
Irvin Escobar. One on, one out. And Rodriguez watches a ball up and in. Rodriguez, the senior from Puerto Rico, Wabash Valley. Last year hit 400 last year at the community college level. The 1-0, upstairs 2-0. And now we're seeing some action down in the UMass bullpen. When do they pull the trigger, if they do?
Yeah, 63 pitches for Middleton, and he's been outstanding, but you don't want to let this one get out of hand here. It's not going to take much.
Last year, Middleton's longest outing was 45, a game against Elon. Pitched 45 in an inning and 2/3 against Elon, where he gave up 1 hit, 1 run, struck out 3. But after a quick timeout, we'll be back to it. The 2-0 to Rodriguez. There's a fastball strike. 2-1. Wildcats looking to stay alive here in the 10th, potentially win this series tonight. If not, it goes to a winner-take-all tomorrow afternoon at noon. Swing and a miss. Rodriguez out in front of the fastball, and it's 2-2. Middleton winds and fires. Swing and a miss. High fastball eats the Wildcats again. And there's 2 down. The Wildcats down to their last out. And we'll have a pinch hitter for Darrell Lee.
It's the same story, different batter. Keep it up in the zone. They can't lay off of it. If you can throw that consistently for a strike, the Wildcats, strike or ball, have not been able to go at it. There's been some that have been well above the zone they've swung at, some that are in it that they're missing at. They cannot track it down.
And Jose Fernandez will be the last chance for the Wildcats tonight. Fernandez, the redshirt sophomore from Venezuela, and a transfer from Monroe Community College. Originally from Venezuela, but played his high school ball in Pennsylvania at Scotland Campus High School. Watches one up and in. Fernandez on the year. This is his 3rd appearance. In 4 at-bats, no runs, 1 hit, 1 RBI. Swing and a miss, and a fastball at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Middleton looking for his 11th strikeout of the night to end this one. Fouled away to the first base side. Wildcats down to their last strike.
Well, if I'm Middleton, keeping this one high and on the inner half of the plate.
The Wildcats haven't been able to catch up to anything high. Really, anything Middleton has thrown at all. It's been a terrific outing for him. 10 strikeouts in now 4 innings. And Derek Cartaya will just slow things down.
I find it hard-pressed that we'll see another game all the rest of the season with as many combined strikeouts between both sides as we have tonight. It's really been kind of ugly offensively for both teams. You've seen, little bursts here or there, but there's nothing about it that's been elegant. It's been that kind of series going back to last night.
But all it took is the 1 timely hit from UMass, and that was it. That's all it took.
But and really on both sides. I mean, how many times can you look at it? 7 stranded runners for UMass, 9 for BCU. 2 different swings either way, and you're looking at a significantly different game.
Wildcats down to their last strike. Here's the 1-2 from Middleton. Upstairs, 2-2.
Well, we know what he was trying to do there, but left it a little bit high. Wouldn't be surprised if we go right back to it.
This would be a well-deserved win for the sophomore from Canton. The 2-2. Breaking ball, missed it inside. The UMass players behind the plate doing the velocity tracking thought that was it. But it's a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Jose Fernandez looks at the 3-2 and swings and misses. Strikeout number 11 in 4 innings for Andrew Middleton. He dominates the Wildcats out of the bullpen, and UMass wins it 4-3.
Well, in a season that's been full of a lot of frustrations, this might be the most frustrating one thus far. Wildcats go home with 9 guys stranded on base, make that 10 with Soufrain left there in that inning, and it just wasn't pretty at the plate. You got some guys out there who give you some great efforts. Corey is going to remain with the 0-0 record on the season, despite being outstanding yet again. The Wildcats bullpen, not horrible by any means. I mean, a little iffy at times, maybe not always the prettiest, but they did enough that it feels like on the mound, that's multiple games now where you feel like you should have come out on the other side, and it just has not gone your way. It's going to take a real come-to-Jesus meeting among this team for them to get the bats right, for them to get the heads on straight. It's just been, it's not just, again, the bounces or great defensive plays or some kind of Herculean effort on the mound as good as UMass was tonight and even going back to last night. But it's the approach. It's the swings, especially high in the zone, that are nothing more than pop-ups, weak ground balls, a ton of strikeouts. It's the approach that's been bad, and it's not just one guy. It's up and down this lineup.
Final line score tonight. The UMass Minutemen, 4 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors. They left 7 on base for Bethune-Cookman. 3 runs on 3 hits. Just 3 hits tonight for the Wildcats. And they left 10 on base. The second time this season they've left double-digit on base. Left 12 on base in the season opener against Stony Brook on last Friday night. A frustrating one to deal with for the Wildcats this evening. They'll be back tomorrow afternoon to try and take the series from UMass. And I would not want to be in the clubhouse tonight with Coach Hernandez.
It's an important one. I mean, we're so early in the season. We know at the end of the day, non-conference doesn't matter. I tell you who it does matter, though, too, is the head coach of this baseball team, who it's important for them to finish with this good record, to set this program up in a national perspective in a way that is respected outside of the conference that we play in. So make no mistake about it. It's not like some other sports here where you take your licks in non-conference and you move. This is a team. This is a program that plays these games to win. And last year we started off the season. You watched Northwestern come in, and they handed it to the Wildcats pretty good. It's a team that we expected to do that. But the Wildcats rebounded, and there hasn't quite been a rebound just yet. And we're waiting to see how that happens, when that happens. I don't want to say you're running out of time to do it, because, again, it is so early in the season, but we need to start seeing some sparks somewhere, and it starts in the lineup.
Now, the offense just adrift tonight, and all the credit in the world to Andrew Middleton. 11 strikeouts in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, in 16 batters faced. That's incredible.
The UMass pitching staff has been unbelievable, but the Wildcats have played a big part in that. They've given them outs. They've given them easy innings. They've allowed them to be efficient and work deep. It's never acceptable to have the number of strikeouts that they did in this game.
Once again, your final line score, UMass, 4 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors, 7 left on. Bethune-Cookman, 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors, 10 left on. The winning pitcher is Andrew Middleton, his record 1-0. The losing pitcher, Carlos Hasmin, his record 0-1. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon at noon Eastern time to start, as there'll be the rubber match between the Minutemen and the Wildcats here at the Jack. For producer Lee, Bryce Renowski up here on commentary with me, our entire student-ran broadcast crew here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. My name is Michael Torrillo. We'll see you tomorrow for the finale between these two schools. Have a very pleasant rest of your evening.